Dudes
represents a clear and present danger to the national security of the United States.
You have no idea what men are.
Hello, and welcome back to Clear and Present Dudes, the podcast where you've never seen me very upset. I am joined, as always, by my good friends Rory O'Toole and Sanye Björksen. Thank you for listening to everyone who's listened to the podcast and left nice comments and ratings and so on. I just want to start with a shout out. We are, of course, this episode covering the 1996 film Mission Impossible, and it would be remiss of us not to acknowledge that there is another podcast out there which has covered this film over the course of several hundred episodes called Light the Fuse, which is as near as you can get to an official podcast for Mission Impossible. Start out with a couple of fans who's by sheer force of will and commitments to the franchise have managed to get themselves incredible access, and they've put out hundreds of hours of really good content about Mission Impossible. And in the research for this episode, I listened to their making of documentary episode for Mission Impossible 1996. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to that podcast. Listen to it. If you want more better informed takes about Mission Impossible, then listen to that. If you want to hear three guys just shooting the shit for a couple of hours vaguely around the subject of Mission Impossible, then yeah, please stay right here. But as I say, we're talking about Mission Impossible, 1996 American spy film directed by Brian De Palma, revisiting the Brian De Palma well after last week's touch on The Untouchables. And it was produced by and stars Tom Cruise from a screenplay by David Koepp. We'll talk about that in a short while. And it's a reboot, of course, of the 1966 television series of the same name, and its 88 sequel series. And it is the first installment of the Mission Impossible franchise, which of course now is a thundering behemoth made famous, known for its incredible death-defying stunts performed by Tom Cruise, the Unbreakable Man, and known a little bit less, I suppose, for its tight plotting and its sort of spy thriller credentials, and is more just kind of like an excuse to have a big stunt. But this movie stars the aforementioned Tom Cruise, Jon Voight, Henry Czerny, Emmanuelle Béart, Jean Reno, Ving Rhames, who would come back to be a series regular, Kristin Scott Thomas, and Vanessa Redgrave. And in this film, we are introduced to super spy Ethan Hunt as he seeks to uncover who framed him for the murders of most of his IMF, Impossible Missions Force team, and he becomes disavowed, which happens to him in every single movie henceforth. But
the man's an HR nightmare.
It really is. It's like unhireable. Oh God. Oh, Jesus. Okay, cool. All right, I've done enough talking. Rory O'Toole, we'll go around the room. Rory O'Toole, how did you find Mission Impossible 1966? What's your history of the movie?
Oh, goddamn. So, I remember watching this film on VHS literally decades ago. And at the time, I think maybe a lot of it was kind of lost on me. And I spent most of my rewatch of the other night thinking, oh my God, how good is this film? How good is this film? Holy crap, dude. I was enraptured by it when I watched it. I was blown away by, can I say something and no one's going to get all mad?
Yeah, sure. This is a safe space, mate.
This film is incredibly 1970s in a very, very cool way. It's got a massive, massive amount of shared DNA with absolute bangers. Things like Really Is the Condor, which we've obviously talked about in the pod before. And I know what you're thinking, because there's one particular line in a particular telephone box, which is absolutely a massive callback to it. The film is beautifully paced. It's got extensive amounts of dialogue, which I loved. Some of the writing is absolute bars. It really is. I mean, like, at the risk of being a total wife guy, and mention my wife Emma a lot, but she was a really good, like, kind of like Bellwether for films, because there were some lines that made her like physically sit up in her nest and be like, holy shit, bars. And yeah, she was a nest, man. And like, just some of the lines, I think something she said to me was along the lines of, why isn't this line being quoted constantly today? Because it's so good. When it comes to the quotes, I'll be going ape over it. The way it's shot is fantastic. The acting's great. It's just, we're then kind of like segueing into watching the second film, and I was like, very different film, barely in the same franchise. And it's a real proper, intelligent, well-written, twisty-turny spy thriller. It doesn't rely too much on any one thing. It doesn't rely too much on gadgets, like some like the later 90s James Bond films did. It doesn't rely too much on someone being exceptionally good at fighting and stuff like that. It's just spycraft and storytelling. It's mint. A significant amount of reviews that like they don't make films like this anymore, and they don't. To an extent, a greater or lesser extent, but it was amazing. 2 hours incredibly well spent for me, enriching.
Awesome. I've got some stuff to say about your earlier points about the phone booth scene and its 70s vibes and stuff. I'll come back to that in a second, but before I do that, let's ask Sanya Bjorkson, how did you find Mission Impossible 1996? I'm just going to start calling it Mission Impossible. Just Mission Impossible. How did you find Mission Impossible?
No notes.
10 out of 10. No notes. Not a dry seat in the house.
Awesome. Any advances or just no notes?
Well, I mean, I haven't first watched it on VHS. Is pretty much all I can add to that. I have been sinful and first watched it digitally, not quite that long ago as well. Content-wise, I don't have anything to add. I obviously can't comment on the 70s vibes possibly going on in there, having not really been around all that long. Not part of the man. An ancient man, like the
Einstein
1700s.
Altamban.
How old do you think we are?
Yeah, come on.
This. Well,
So-
listen, I am clearly on a podcast with someone who used to be Jesus's body double at some point.
That's you, Rory. You're the one who looks like Jesus. Okay.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, Mike, when you joined the Navy, did they already have cars?
Fuck me, man. What the
Coming in
hell
hot.
is going on?
Oh my God! It's Sanya Brooks off the top row.
I mean, this is just friendly fire at this point. I mean, you
Jesus.
guys at least still have hair left, so
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna quit doing that for now.
Oh, I gotta segue back to the 1970s stuff because this blends nicely into the chat about the production of the movie I wanted to get into. So, Rory O'Toole, did you know that it was Tom Cruise whose idea it was to make this movie? So he and his agent Paula Wagner formed Cruise Wagner Productions, CW Productions, which is the production company who made the movie with Paramount. Paramount owned the property for Mission Impossible, and Cruise was a big fan of the TV show growing up, loved it. And he was looking to get it made. And off the back of him doing the film in 1993 with Sidney Pollack, director of course, Fridays the Condor, he was really keen to get Sidney Pollack to direct it. Pollack kind of said, "No, this isn't really my wheelhouse. You know, I make movies like Tootsie. You know, I don't do this kind of thing." And then like Cruise was like, "Yeah, you do. We just made the film, and you made Fridays the Condor. This is totally in your wheelhouse. What are you talking about? You could absolutely make this movie." Nevertheless, Pollack respectfully declined the opportunity to make this movie and steered him in the direction of Brian De Palma. And said, "Have I got a guy for you? Brian De Palma is a good guy." And obviously, Tom Cruise is a big film nerd. He already knew, and he's in the industry. Obviously, by this point, he's made it big, well respected, huge actor. This is 1995. We're talking about when the movie production's happening. 1993 when they're talking. So he's coming off the back of A Few Good Men, and obviously is just wrapped on the film when they're having these conversations. Gets him in touch with Brian De Palma, who he meets. Brian De Palma, the same year, had just finished Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
And had obviously had a long story career doing stuff like Blowout and that kind of thing. And yeah, he was up for it. So they worked on the sort of the idea for a couple of years, and then sort of put it together. They had some meetings about who was going to write it. And the first guy who had a crack at the screenplay was, I think, Steven Zeller, the guy who wrote Schindler's List. Incredibly. So he didn't actually write a screenplay, though. He had some meetings with Brian De Palma when they talked about it. Kind of went through and kicked some ideas together, kind of come up with a rough outline. I didn't commit it. There was a few other goes at writing the screenplay. The guy who finally finished it, though, that was David Koepp. And David Koepp, let's just take a little canter through David Koepp's filmography. Starting with 1991, Toy Soldiers, Sean Astin, Die Hard in a Boarding School, Death Becomes Her, Jurassic Park, Carlito's Way,
Yeah.
The Shadow, okay, then Mission Impossible. After this, he does The Lost World, Jurassic Park, Snake Eyes, Stir of Echoes, Panic Room, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, All the Worlds in 2005 for Steven Spielberg.
Holy crap.
Unfortunately, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, bit of a whiff. Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit,
Holy crap.
with Christopher Pine.
Everything comes back to Jack Ryan, man. Everything comes back to him. He's like, he's the wellspring that started this whole thing, man.
2017's The Mummy with Tom Cruise. 2023's Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. And he's had 2 movies with Steven Soderbergh, Kimmy and Presence, which we talked about last week, the Ghost movie.
Wow.
And his last credit, the last 2 he did. Another one with Steven Soderbergh, Black Bag, and then he did Jurassic Park Rebirth, which didn't do so well, but incredibly versatile. And his latest project that's upcoming, I don't know if you guys have seen anything about it yet. Have you heard of Disclosure Day? It's Steven Spielberg's new UFO movie he's doing. Huge cast, Emily Blunt, Josh O'Connor. It's in post-production at the moment. This was written by David Koepp.
Right. But
Right.
I've heard a tiny amount of buzz about Disclosure Day just from like paranormal podcasts and stuff that I listen to when I'm on my computer work and stuff, but I know very little about it. Apart from there is like sort of like a kind of theory among some people that Steven Spielberg has been kind of contracted to work towards actual real disclosure of aliens, and he was hired for like the kind of soft launch with Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and now he's going on to this Disclosure Day because, you know,
Via E.T.
via ET. And I mean, it's, you know what, as out of the conspiracy theories, it's an interesting one. This is not a conspiracy theory podcast, but it's
No,
an
it's not.
interesting one that like that the idea the idea that a president could like bring in people from Hollywood to like soften the blow from when they say, hey guys, those aliens are real, especially the knife alien. Watch out for him.
That takes back. Another thing we should talk about actually is that today we are recording this pod on the same day that the teaser trailer for Alejandro Inarritu's new movie Digger has just dropped, with Tom Cruise in a black comedy role. And you don't even really see him in the trailer, which is kind of weird. But this is the long-touted kind of return to proper kino for Tom Cruise that we've been talking about for a while, you know? Kind of for what was promised. With the end of Mission Impossible, he was going to come back and do some real movies again, and like here we are. And that sounds really reductive. The Mission Impossible movies are real movies, obviously, but like, you know, I mean, like challenging cinema, kino, film bro, Letterboxd. Yeah. So, but yeah, have you seen that yet? The
I've not. No, I've been working like crazy today, and I've had a bunch of crap to do. My life's insane this past few days and few next days.
fair one. It's like about 25 seconds long.
I don't have time for that. Time is fucking money that I've gotten on.
You see, like, it's just like a shot, it pans up, there's like a bit of a bluesy riff playing, and then you see like a spade just go dunk on the ground, and it's like, Digger. And then,
That's amazing.
and then you see like his legs come past, and he's wearing like these long cowboy boots, but
Yeah.
with like short shorts.
My
And
God.
just like dum dum, and then there's a whole bit where it cuts to him like on what appears to be like a pier. It looks like with like a bollard, like a handrail kind of thing, and he stands up on it and kind of like does like some sort of dance with it with the digger, with the spade, and it's like Tom Cruise is Digger. That's all it says,
This is
and it's like
This is gonna be
we are
fun.
so back.
we are so
Oh,
back,
we are so
boys.
back.
Cruise boys, cruisers, we are so back.
Good morning, Mr. Phelps. This is your mission should you choose to accept it. Should you or any member of your IM force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions. Ethan Hunt will be your point man as usual. Good luck, Jim.
Simple game. Is he serious?
Always.
I missed the voiceover guy.
Yeah.
This is like it's cool, but it's almost like a DVD kind of trailer. Doesn't feel like a trailer you'd see in the movie.
Yeah.
Kinda
yeah,
does.
buddy.
It's good, but it kind of does like what all the movies after this would do. In fact, I think the movie does it. So the opening credits for each Mission Impossible movie shows you what's going to happen in the movie you're about to watch. Did you ever see that?
Yeah. That was crazy. I noticed that.
And it's kind of like that. It's a little bit like
Yeah.
that. It's like, well, here's like every big explosion. Here's like every cool scene, just for a split second.
There was definitely a point in the 90s when trailers were just, I mean, that's got pretty much every big set piece from the film, right? And there was a point, I remember, when trailers were just like This just sucks, man. This is all the good bits of the film.
The movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I will say that today I read the screenplay for the movie as well.
Yes.
People may or may not know that the Mission Impossible movies after this, I would say after the first 3, so from 4 onwards, so Ghost Protocol, Rogue Nation, Fallout, and your 2 Dead Reckonings, or Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning. From then on, they kind of, each of them famously have like one humongous stunt that is like the big stunt that everyone knows about. It's part of the marketing beforehand. You wind up seeing like making of featurettes about how they do that stunt before even the movies come out, And it was very openly discussed by crews and Kristen McQuarrie, who became like the director of them for the latter few. That what they would do is they would get in a room and they would talk like, what's the craziest stunt we can come up with? Like, what's the biggest thing we can do? And then we're going to do that. And then they kind of make a movie around it to the point where, and you'll notice this if you watch like Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, like they'll have them do all their dialogue scenes where they talk about like the plot moving forward in like small rooms. Like, so it films in tight close-up, so that if, when they're making the movie, they decide they want to take it in a slightly different direction, they can just reshoot those pretty easily because they're not, like, on location looking out for a great vista on a certain day with certain lighting outside with the sun going down. Like, they're in a small room that they can control the lighting of. So they can do that kind of thing. It's really interesting. So it was kind of interesting to have a look at this movie, obviously being the first one, and see the screenplay, and it's pretty much like what they shot, almost. Like there's very few. This is David Koepp's final shooting scripts, to be fair. So this is this is the one they would have taken to them to say I couldn't get anything earlier. So this is almost pretty much exactly what they say, and it probably means that this is kind of why this story's plot, I think, holds together pretty well. Like you were saying earlier on, this is a pretty tightly plotted thriller. I agree with that. I also think that this movie is a lot goofier than I remember it being. I always think of this as being like the serious one at the start, and then I watched it and I was like, some of this stuff is fucking dumb as fuck. Like, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, some of it's pretty silly. It's not like it's not insane levels of grit and realism because it kind of wouldn't be fun. I mean, the Mission Impossible TV series itself was fun. Like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was Cold War. It was disguises, people clotting about gadgets and things. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, this is not. So this movie starts with what would become a standard thing in the Mission Impossible movies. Not every single one of them does it, but more than one of them does it. A scene where they have a ginormous fake out, and it's a guy being questioned because he's woken up in what he thinks is a hotel room with like a dead prostitute on the bed, covered in blood, and he's covered in blood. And a Russian mobster's walked in who's going to help him clean it all up, but he needs some information first. And he slaps him about a little bit. And then when he gets the information he needs, a woman comes in, gives him a shot, and it knocks him out. And then they do the cool like Mission Impossible thing where the Russian gangster pulls off his face mask and, oh, it's Tom Cruise. And then some other guys just come in, like pull the walls apart and, oh, it was just a prefab room. And it's all set up to get the information they need. And Jack, Emmanuelle Béart is sitting there with like a search engine open, ready to type in the name they get so they can get all the information about the guy. And it's really cool.
Netscape Navigator or something.
Yeah.
It does actually make an appearance. Netscape Navigator does make an appearance in this film. And I was just, when I was watching it, it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, like pointing at the TV. It's like, my God, it's fucking Netscape Navigator. I remember using that thing. Shut up, Sanya. You're going to call me old again.
Yeah. But I thought it was really cool. So there is, I'm going to get this wrong. I think it's Mission Impossible Fallout has a really similar scene at the beginning.
There's a fucking amazing episode of The Lone Gunman that starts out with this kind of like fake out room kind of thing, which involves a character Frohickey, the little older guy, doing some just insane wire fu shit, like flying on wires doing martial arts. It's insane. That's a show we should consider at some point doing a special on because it's bonkers. It's just silly thriller heists. It's so funny.
It's the X-File, for people who don't know, it's the X-Files spin-off, and the three characters, the Lone Gunmen, who help out Mulder sometimes because they have like big conspiracy theorists vibes.
Yeah.
And the first episode kind of predicted 9/11
by literally fucking 6 months. Messed up, very messed up. Episode 1 of the Lone Gunman series involves a government plot to remotely hijack an airliner and fly it into the World Trade Center. So it's not even like kind of how you could argue that Tom Clancy sort of predicted it with the end of Debt of Honor when the pilot flies his 747 into the Capitol building. But then, like 2 episodes later, there's this like episode that's like a ridiculous Ealing comedy when Frohickey has to like go undercover as the lost son of a Nazi collaborator lady. And then I think an episode later, there's a whole heist when they've got to like break a monkey that's super intelligent out of a research facility. Such a fucking good show, dude.
That's amazing, man. We should cover that.
You would need to at this point now. We've kind of foreshadowed it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our intro sequence, and then we get their actual mission. So Jim Phelps is in a plane, and the air hostess comes up to him with this is another classic bit of Mission Impossible stuff, with a little video that plays the mission briefing to him, and his mission, should he choose to accept it, is to stop a rogue agent called Alexander Golitsyn from stealing the CIA's NOC, non-official cover list, which reveals the identities of all the undercover agents in Europe. And then we get a cool little mission briefing scene where we meet the team, and I like a good team meeting. What do you think of this one? Remember, like when we talked about the Op Center team and how we kind of introduced all those guys, and it seemed really forced and unnatural.
Even now, I'm just feeling the pain of that op center team introduction. I liked how it was kind of in the form of, like you said, like a meeting. Like it's just kind of like it felt very natural, very naturalistic. Something I thought was, and obviously because this is a spoiler cast, so we know that the team's gonna essentially be almost entirely wiped out in like a few minutes. So I can say this, that we aren't going to see a lot of them because they're going to die, but it seems a bit ahead of its time and outside of the 90s that there's more than one woman on the team, and the one woman on the team isn't just a really hot infiltrator who wears like tactical bondage gear or whatever. Because I mean, you know, there was a lot of kind of shit writing of like women in thriller kind of well, I mean, there still is a bit of it, but it was nice to see that there's a team when the chicks outnumber the dudes, you know, pretty much. Because I mean, like the people who are doing active stuff and boots on the ground, there's 3 women, 2 dudes. So interesting to see that there's the imbalance there. It's pretty cool. It's interesting to see like the banter between them. It gives a good impression that they've worked well together in the past. Some of the dialogue as well is just, what was the one about my wife's coffee that made me laugh? Take it easy on my wife's coffee. Or as I said out loud as I watched the film, take it easy on my concerningly young wife's coffee.
Yeah.
I do think that's a bit kind of, I think like Jon Voight's like, if I sign on for this film, gotta have a young wife. I don't need to do a sex scene with her. I don't need to do anything with her. I just want to look like I'm still really fucking virile, you know? I've got a Jon Voight reputation to maintain here. So give me a hot young wife and we're good to fucking go. But yeah, like aside from that bit of like awkwardness and stuff, I think it's pretty cool, like see a team that's like more balanced between the sexes. It's pretty cool. And just, yeah, it's like they seem to get on well with each other, and it's like, I like these guys already, you know? The writing makes them interesting. There's no one particularly annoying in the team because it's easy. Not like I'm a writer, but I think it's probably an easy, cheesy move to make someone in the team just be really fucking irritating. It's like, hey, it's the crazy guy. It's the guy who does the funny, wacky stuff, and it's like they're all professionals, you know.
Yeah, they could have done it with Emilio Estevez's character, but they kind of pulled themselves back at the last minute, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like he's almost going there. Hasta lasagna.
Don't get any on you. He has some silly sort of one-liners and stuff like that. But he's not like, waka waka, I'm the funny guy, you know? So it's cool.
He's trying to get with Kristin Scott Thomas as well. Which, yeah, he's not made of wood. Come on.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So that scene, right, is one of the only bits that's different in the screenplay.
Right.
So there's 2 bits. So the initial bit in Kiev with the fake room, you remember that Emmanuelle Béart, who plays Claire, she gets tranquilized. She's drugged so that she can like be like a plausibly dead hooker.
Yeah.
And then she's been under for a little bit too long, and then they wake her up, and it's a bit like, man, this is the last time we do this, because Ethan's like, this is the last time we do this because I was really worried there, kind of thing. In the screenplay, that's a little bit more serious. It's like, this is the last time we do that on my watch, kind of thing, and he's like properly like worked up about it. There's an awkward scene pretty much straight away between Jim Phelps Jon Voight and Ethan Hunt straight away, where Jon Voight is already kind of accusing Ethan of getting a little bit too close to his hot young French wife. Claire, who's at the computer behind them, somehow seems to be the reference point in the following exchange. This is it. Ethan, how was Chicago? Phelps, wonderful. Ran into a convention of auto dealers at the Drake Hotel. You hear the one about the astronaut who comes back from the first manned flight to Mars after 2 years? His wife's got a year-old kid. So he says, all right, who was it? My friend Harry? She says no. Was it my friend Sammy? She says it wasn't Sammy. I suppose it was my other friend Lou. No. What's the matter? Don't you think I have friends of my own?
That is insanely boomer. That's like, wife bad, father, I cannot click the boot.
So straight away they're like not getting on. And they've just taken it. And I think that would have been weird if that had been in the movie, because then like it kind of puts you on this weird on edge thing. There's a couple of bits though, right? Full spoiler cast. We obviously know Jim Phelps quite controversially turns out to be the bad guy in the movie. And it's like pretty obvious, like straight away. If you're paying attention to it, like that initial heist at the beginning, it's really obvious that he's like the one controlling the lift and stuff. The mission brief is they're going to intercept this guy, Alexander Goitskin, who's got the knock list on a floppy disk at this embassy party thing in Prague, and they're going to have to go in there, infiltrate the place, try and swap out the list and grab it and be gone. I guess we're into it. It's the big heist, right? So everyone's got a job. We probably should count it through the team quickly so everyone knows who they are. Not that it really matters too much because we're all going to die. But we've got Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise, who's played by Tom Cruise. He's your point man on this operation. We've got Kristen Scott Thomas, who plays Sarah, who is like, I guess, his number two, also on point. She's the kind of the one who's already in there. Is the undercover mole, kind of prepping the guy. We've got Emmanuelle Béart, who's Claire, who's outside. She's handling transport. She only got that job because she's married to Jon Voight, I think. Jon Voight is obviously the commander in charge. Jim Phelps, he's obviously rear echelon motherfucker. And then you got Hannah, played by Ingabora Dapu-Kanate, who is the surveillance one, who's got the cool glasses on.
Yeah, that was mint. That was so cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, we've got Emilio Estevez as Jack, who's inside the building, hacking into the terminals, moving doors and stuff. And to do this, he has to sit on top of a lift.
Which is just incredibly cool. Something I love about this film is that it exists in a time, both its setting and the time it was written and filmed, when the idea of hacking is still kind of in its infancy, and there's this kind of crossover between physically having to be somewhere to do it and doing things remotely, and it's just so friggin' cool, man. Like, it's digital and analog at the same time. He's electronically hacking things and stuff, but he's got to do it while sitting on top of a lift. It's mint. It's awesome. When you kind of compare it with just the hacking scenes in the second film, when it's all very much done like remotely in like Wi-Fi kind of thing, and after just 4 years, it takes out fair amount of the tension. The best kind of like electronic hacking and freaking kind of scenes are ones when there's like a ticking clock and a sword of Damocles over the person who's actually doing the hacking. With a lot of properties, you can't really do it in like kind of, how can I put this, right? I'm going to go down a weird fucking rabbit hole here. With cyberpunk properties, like things like Shadowrun and stuff like that, you can have these like plot lines which have these great concepts of like hacking in from like 20 miles away, because you've got things like dump shock and you're physically plugged into the net, and if the ice gets you get dump shock and your brain gets fried. But when you've got a kind of more modern kind of setup, when you're, I'm just going to hack something from my laptop at a distance, the stakes don't feel as high as Emilio Estevez sitting on top of a lift or crushed himself against the wall the first time the lift goes down. I think it's incredibly cool, you know?
It is really cool. And that whole concept is like how the main heist of the movie kind of works.
Yeah.
The whole big deal is it doesn't matter what kind of crypto you've got, blah, 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 blah. Like, here's the worst part. You have to be plugged into the terminal because it's completely air-gapped. Okay, cool. So this heist kind of happens. It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty slickly done.
Yeah.
In terms of like it carries you along with it. You don't feel like you're kind of stagnated anywhere. It flows kind of nicely. In my opinion, everyone gets their cool little bit. So, you know, Kristen Scott Thomas like marks the guy with her little perfume bottle. Yeah. You see Hannah like adjust her little varifocal lens type thing, so she can see the marking on it, like tune into the frequency of the the agent kind of
She
thing.
just goes into predator vision, doesn't she?
Yeah, that's really cool. And then you get, obviously we're following the guy. We get the whole thing where the lift doesn't work as planned, and like Ethan Hunt in his big like fake Southern drawl is like talking shit about Jack, who's like within earshot. So it all seems to be going really, really well. The guy gets the knock list because he's got a habit, so we can take it off him, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he gets the knock list, and he's about to leave the building, and then suddenly it all goes to shit. Like I say, like watching it again. I mean, I've seen this film like I don't know, like 10 times.
Yeah.
So it's pretty obvious that what we're seeing on the laptop that Jim Phelps has got is that he's been able to like open doors and stuff, which has happened in the movie already. So there's already a bit where Tom's like, I can't get this door open this door so I can get underneath the lift, and he opens the door remotely. So if Jim can open the doors remotely and Jack is there on site to be opening stuff, that doesn't make sense immediately, does it?
Yeah.
It's a bit like, well, if Jim can do it, why is Jack even there? Anyway, so we see Jim, like, basically what he does is he sets the lift going up with Jack on it, and then he clearly just logs himself out. And he's like, and then you have like the system failure thing pops up, but it's only because he's logged out, right?
Yeah.
So then he's like, I can't stop it, Jack. Jack, you cut the power, Jack. Cut the power. And then he's going up and he's like, got his little knife and he's cutting the wires, and then has that horrible scene. It's pretty
Horrible
grim,
death.
isn't it?
The film's a PG as well. I was like, fuck. Yeah. I mean, it's like the way like he kind of screams and it goes in his mouth just for a split second. And then it's like, that would be a 12A if it came out today.
Yeah, what is it, like 2 or 3 frames max? And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's enough though.
Yeah, that is enough. That's like,
In the screenplay, he just gets crushed by the roof.
right.
But I guess you can't really, but I suppose when they got to the point where they were filming that, it's like, well, how do you show that? Like, where's the camera? Like, if that's just that, how does that make sense? So that's probably why I had those things jutting down.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this we can see him get smushed by before it has to cut. Just overthought that. Then the rest of them are pretty brutal. Kristen Scott Thomas gets done dirty.
Yeah.
Really bad. And then they all get killed, don't they?
Yeah.
Hannah gets killed in a car bomb.
Yeah.
Jim appears to die
Mm.
and falls off a bridge. And then finally, Claire also appears to die in what looks like a car bomb.
Yeah.
So Ethan, freaking out, on the run from the Czech police in Prague, gets into a phone box, and we have a little homage to 3 Days of the Condor.
Are you intact?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of are you damaged? Then it's like, damn, that's cinema, baby.
Yeah, that's good. And it's the whole thing. He has to dial in. He has to give like an authentication code when he calls in, and he obviously doesn't go like, I don't remember Condor, but he's like what, like Bravo Echo 11, something like that.
Yeah.
And then that whole thing. They're dead.
They're all dead.
Who's dead? They're dead. They're all dead. And that's another like 3 Days of the Condor thing.
3 Days of the Condor. Yeah, it's Condor-pilled.
So yeah, that's really cool. And obviously, like, Cruise is a big fan of that movie. He obviously worked with Sidney Pollack, so he's Condor-pilled as well at this time. It's really awesome. But he arranges to meet up with Kitteridge, played by Henry Czerny from Canada. We obviously big fans of Jack Ryan as we are. We obviously know this guy as being the terrible, horrible guy from Clear and Present Danger. The guy who's behind Operation Reciprocity. Robert Ritter is his name in that.
He's good at going scumbag mode.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. And he's described in the screenplay as being a guy who looks like he's still living with the Nixon administration. So when you talk about this movie being like 70s pilled as well, like his costuming and his kind of general vibe.
Yeah. The costuming especially, it's like the trench coat that him and his Mara wear when they're on the train, in the train sequence on the TGV, it's like, that's just skating close to like anachronistic for the 90s, but they pull it off, and they pull off through sheer aura alone, through sheer swag alone.
So then we have like the iconic meeting with Kitteridge in the aquarium restaurant, which is really, really cool.
Some of the greatest lines of the film that I'll probably get into when we get in the quote section, but in general, that scene's incredible. It's amazing. Just the camera work when Ethan Hunt's like kind of recognizing, there's another IMF team here, and he's kind of pointing them out, and like you're seeing the cameras going between them. Oh, the drunk Russian and all that, and so good. So good, man.
Yeah.
The way it's shot, the angles to shoot Kittredge at as well. Like it's like the way it sets up Kittredge to be assumed to be the absolute villain and existential threat, which he is, but he's not the absolute villain, But the way it sets him up to be absolutely devilish in this film is excellent. Just the cinema work, it's like, mwah.
Love these movies for they bring Kittredge back for the latter two, which is great, and I like that because first of all, I love that this movie series, nobody asked it to, but it has like a tremendous amount of respect for his own history. Like it didn't have to do that. It didn't have to go that hard and bring all these characters back and stuff. Like no one was keeping track, but they did it anyway, and I respect him and love him for that. And it's great because Henry Czerny gets more work, and I think he's great. So, and he deserves it because he's brilliant in this. And I like what they do here, where just as you described, like the Dutch angles looking up at him, slightly off kilter, like a certain Vanity Fair photo shoot this week.
Incredibly topical and incredibly spot on.
To indicate some sort of slight deviousness, and to show that everything's off kilter. So you get the same thing shooting back at Ethan as well. Yeah, because he's getting stressed out and he's a little bit off kilter and everything's a little bit tensioned and heightened. That just the language of the images like shows you like the relationship, and that Kittredge is like becoming an antagonist. You could watch this movie with the sound off and understand that the guy he's talking to is an antagonistic force, just through what the storytelling, the images, which I think is really cool. We get the payoff for the Chekhov's plastic explosive.
Yes.
Well, it's the first, I suppose. It's the demonstration of the capability of Chekhov's plastic explosive. The Hasta lasagna, don't get it on you. Throws at the aquarium wall. The aquarium wall explodes, and in the script it says 100 gallons of water, but I think like I don't know, like fucking 100 cubes of water come flying out of the front of this restaurant.
Yeah,
like a zillion fish, and it's pretty mega.
Wild. I
didn't realize this, but Sanye alerted me earlier in the group chat to a real life fish tank that this happens to.
Holy crap!
Do you want to spin this?
Yeah.
I don't think there was an IMF agent involved, but yeah.
In a hotel in Berlin, there used to be a very large aquarium full of tropical exotic fish and whatnot, with a whopping height of 25 meters. And actually on the 16th of December 2022, so 3 years and 2 days ago exactly, that randomly collapsed, and suddenly the entire hotel was full of fish.
Mega.
That's 1,500 fish.
Jesus.
100 different, in excess of 100 species, and a total volume of 980 cubic meters of water.
The hell.
That's criminal.
Yes, so let me just...
Imagine if you're like the security guard on duty.
Imagine if you were the cleaner on duty, mate.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Yeah, so they got like civil rescue involved with like cleaning it up. It says here the majority of the 1,500 fish were killed, unsurprisingly, I suppose, and 2 people were hospitalized with injuries. Officials noted that the collapse could easily have taken several lives had it taken place during the hotel's busier operational hours. Detected by local seismographs, the collapse sent the water out of the hotel lobby and into nearby storm drains, but not before damaging several nearby businesses, including a neighboring Lindt chocolate shop.
No.
And the basement of the adjacent DDR museum, the latter of which reopened 3.5 months later.
Imagine if you had been parked outside and like your car just...
Imagine you're just getting out of your car to check into the hotel, and you're hit by an indoor tsunami and all of Nemo's friends.
You just like take it out by like some incredibly rare fish that just bombard you.
Just pulling up to the hotel, going like, does this place smell a bit fishy? And then you're just hit by a wall of water.
I love that the majority of them died, which means, I mean, I hate that, but I like the fact that some of them, therefore, must have survived.
I am picturing someone resuscitating a goldfish.
It's like, basically holding it under the holding it under the
breathe,
tap
damn
and
it.
slapping it around. I can just imagine some like intrepid waiters just opening all like the taps and filling pint glasses with water, just chucking fish in. There you go. Come on, God damn it. Yeah, man, intrepid. They're saving lives, dude. The other one, of course, is that like the fish may have got the storm drains and then created like a kind of like feral fish population for the city, a feral exotic fish population, just these puffer fish, these fugu and all that, just like bobbing at the surface occasionally, more valuable than 90% of the people walking around pound for pound due to how rare they are, but I like that.
Could you imagine being one of those fish?
The
And then
stories to tell your
obviously-
mates.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. You survived this ginormous catastrophe, then you like find yourself in like just a normal tank in someone's house. And you're just sitting, and you're like in the corner, like smoking a cigarette,
Yeah.
and, everyone, and like a new fish comes in, and all the other fish are like, "Don't talk to him,
Yeah.
don't talk to him, man. He's got, he'll if he starts, he won't stop." And it's like, "Oh, who are you?" It's like, "Oh, buddy, did I ever tell you about the hotel?"
The great dome implosion of 22. I was there, son.
Big drag, like
He's got like
25 meters of water, 1,500 of my buddies dead. Could you imagine that many fish? Have you ever seen that many fish, young blood?
he's got like a Snake Plissken style eye patch. He's nowadays he's called Snake Fishkin. Or perhaps even
But you
Sea
think-
Snake Plissken.
You think you know aquariums? You know nothing, son.
That's so good. Snake Fishkin.
With no suspicion of foul play and prior to formal investigation, suspected causes included Ethan Hunt. They've played it safe, by the way. The hotel has reopened this February, and they have replaced the aquarium with a 24-meter vertical garden consisting of about 2,000 plants of 22
My garden has
species.
the potential to do the funniest thing.
I was gonna say, it was like, hotel gets hit by 2,000 different branches at once.
Like 500 plant plots fall overnight.
Sadly, most of the shrubs died. So essentially, afterwards, they said, "Bring me a shrubbery."
So we have, it's not the first, but it's an early example of Tom Cruise running as well as he escapes the restaurant and dashes across the courtyard, being chased by a wave of water and a load of, I hope, a dead fish. What happened though was in that meeting, Kittredge, the CIA director of the IMF, so CIA-based IMF director, so IMF is subordinate to the CIA in this movie, it would appear.
Which means we're going to ask a big fucking question at the end of the show and actually have a not ambivalent answer at this point.
And it does indeed. Kittredge tells Hunt that they are suspecting a mole in the IMF. And I think this is legit. I think they are legitimately looking for a mole in the IMF. But they all think that it's Hunt. Because it all, as far as they're concerned, everything's adding up. There's a Hunt's family's farm is in receivership.
Yeah.
This is the one and only time we'll ever talk about Ethan Hunt's personal life outside of like Rebecca Ferguson in all these movies. Yeah, and Michelle Monaghan, sorry. Yeah, and they think that Hunt is the mole. He wants to sell the knock list to get a lot of money so he can buy back his family's farm for them or something like that. That's what they kind of assume. And then they tell him that the knock list at this embassy and this mission was a fake, so it would have been useless, but also that the person they're trying to sell it to is this arms dealer, Max, as part of Job 314. So, armed with that information, I'm saying all this because it leads to what happens next. So Ethan Hunt says, right, I'm going to try and backtrace who the mole is by posing as the mole and talking to this Max and setting up a meet so that I can find out from Max who the mole is. And then it leads us to one of my favourite scenes in the movie, the extended sequence where we get to watch Ethan Hunt use a laptop.
He is all of us in this film. He is a man who is very tired in front of a laptop.
He's extremely sleepy. He's a sleepy
yeah.
boy in front of that laptop.
He is actually so we've talked about films predicting various things. This film generally predicted the state of a lot of our lives in the year 2025 when we're just tired in front of a computer, man. Or just tired in front of a computer, just typing away, tired, sleepy, beaten down.
Tell you what I like about this movie is when he receives an email, the laptop makes the most horrendous sound to alert him to the email. It's like a to say that he has an email. Whilst laptops don't literally make that noise when you receive an email, to me, in my heart, they are doing that. When I see that another email's coming in, it is very much like the laptop is going.
Yeah, is it meh?
Oh,
Hey
who the fuck
Mike, hey Mike, here's another shitstorm for you. It's never a good email, is it? Like very, very, I mean, it's never, like especially on like a work address. It's never a fucking good email. It's
I can count
Hey,
the number
we
of.
found another random side quest for you to do while you are already overworked, and this is actually not your job. But would you like to? Actually, we're not asking you. Just do it. And while we ask you to do it, we are accompanying it with that horrifying Microsoft Teams notification sound for your pleasure only.
For emails that start with FYSA, for your situational awareness. I don't need to be more situationally aware. Everyone is too aware of the situations right now. If anything, we should all have
Less awareness.
If anything, I want emails for my situational ignorance. Please.
we must increase the mystery, decrease the awareness, more vibes.
Okay, so Ethan Hunt using a laptop was on a hunt for an Ethan Hunt or Usenet forums, and he's like, job what? Who should I email? And then he emails Max at job314, and he goes into he's looking for like a Bible forum. He managed to find a Book of Job Bible forum to go on, and then he attempts to DM someone called Max within that forum. But even that's what I took from that.
Yeah, and man, I'm ancient man here. I used to hang out on Usenet. I actually used to like post on Usenet. Fuck you, Sanya. I used to hang out on like various Usenets and stuff. I think I was on like the alt Wesley Crusher die Usenet, which was pretty good. It was the one where everyone just fucking hated Wesley Crusher.
Shut up, Wesley.
And I remember being in one Usenet group that kept I remember being in one Usenet group that I forget which Usenet group it was, but it kept getting raided by people from the alt-xena.warrior.princess Usenet group. And I was like, the Xenites are back and they're posting things. It was all in...
Brilliant. Stargate or something, bro.
Probably something like that. It was all in good fun. I actually, I was like, Emma, you're too young to remember Usenet. She's like, yep. It's like, okay, Scads. It kind of looks like Reddit, just from what I've seen with all that short list of alphabetical Usenet groups, including Amiga demos and Amazon women admirers. That was it, man. It was like Usenet crazy times. I heard you can still access them.
We should do that. We should have a look.
We should. The Xena Warrior Princess Usenet group, and maybe they were Clear and Present Dudes fan raid on it. But be very respectful because we've got nothing against any other fandoms because we're all chilled out guys who just like to post.
We're just men. We're just innocent men.
Innocent men.
Just a men.
It's normal men.
Just normal men.
Just normal dudes. It's normal dudes. Just innocent dudes.
Just clear and present dudes.
Okie dokie. So Ethan Hunt spends a long night emailing every possible account it could possibly be on Usenet. And it works. He gets an email back suggesting a meet, and he gets very detailed instructions about what to do. Some funky little spycraft bullshit happens, and then he does it. He approaches a man on a bench whilst holding a packet of cigarettes and asks him for a match, and gets bundled into a sedan and is taken to meet the elusive Max, who is a veteran of stage and screen, Vanessa Redgrave, giving extreme sultry energy as our arms dealer.
It's an incredibly horny performance from her. She is like...
It is indeed.
Hey, Ethan.
I really enjoy that. They kind of bring her back via having Vanessa Kirby play like her granddaughter or something in the later movies. She's meant to be related.
I had no idea. The only ones I've seen are the first one, the second one, and I think some of Ghost Protocol at Emma's grandma's house when we were all drinking quite heavily.
Oh man, my Clear and Present Dude, you need to watch Rogue Nation. I mean, the rest of them are all great, but Rogue Nation's fun. It's the one that starts with the A400 thing. Oh, yeah, cool. Right, so meets Max. She he convinces Max that the knock list he's got, that she already has, is a fake, and that's got a tracking device in it that she puts into a disk drive. I like that the floppy disk that she has the knock list on is like still got like dry blood and stuff on it from being inside the guy's pocket. He convinces Max that he can get her the real one, as she gives him like a cash advance so he can like buy the tools he needs. And then we get like the best, coolest bit of the movie, which is the heist to get into Langley and get the real knock list. I love this. It's pretty much exactly as it appears in the screenplay. But before that happens, Ethan meets up again with, well, he's met with Claire already.
Yeah.
In the Prague safe house, and they have to hire a couple of extra bods to make a team for a heist. And they hire Jean Reno and Ving Rhames as Krieger and Luther Stickle, respectively. And Luther becomes like a series regular. He's in like in every movie after this, which is great. And I love the meeting with Luther. Phineas Freak, as his name is. There's a cool story about Ving Rhames here. So Ving Rhames, his character in the original screenplay before it got reworked into the shooting scripts, was meant to get killed off. And Ving Rhames asked the question of Tom Cruise. He was like, why does the black guy die? And he's like,
ooh, very good point.
And he's like, well, you know, like lots of people die in the movie, you know, this one happens to be black, but like, you know, lots of people die. And he's like, yeah, but like, why is the black guy always got to die in movies? And he's like, good point. And then so from there on, like Luther survived and he made it for like another 7 movies, which is fantastic. Got himself like a job for life. You know, he's been getting that Mission Impossible money for the last 30 years off that. So good for him.
Incredible.
Try Ben's getting out.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Indeed. Cool. Right. So this becomes a thing in all the Mission Impossibles going forward. There's always like one cool big heist, and they're always explained the way they are here. Well, they kind of are. This is the first one, and it's the kind of the prototype. So what they do here is they talk about how difficult it's going to be by describing in detail the rules of the security of the place they're trying to infiltrate. So on this one, they're trying to access a computer that's in a secure room. The secure room can only be accessed by one guy who has to get through like a door. There's an airlock room, another door, and he's into the room itself. And the room itself has got a whole bunch of security features inside as well. So he has to get past like a code room. It's like there's like a door code. He has 2 key cards that have to be used in tandem. He gets into another door. He has to get through like an iris scanner as well. Once he's into the actual room itself, the room itself is when it's not being accessed by him. So when it's like armed, there's pressure plates on the deck. There's an alarm linked to like a decibel microphone, so it goes over a certain amount of decibels. It alarms. It has a heat sensitive alarm, so if the body temperature of somebody is in the room, it will trigger as well. So it's supposed to be cool when they go in there. Cool. And there's only one vent where the aircon comes in from above, and there's like a laser grid over the top of that. Okay, so this room is like impenetrable unless you happen to be this one guy. Mr. Donlow is his name.
He's basically Cyril Figgis from Archer, isn't he? I mean, like even you see, I don't even have to say work with me here because you know exactly where I'm going. I mean, even like the voice recognition at the start, it's like I'm watching. It's like Cyril Figgis, you know, like he's like
Cyril Figgis.
He is I mean, hindsight, Cyril Figgis is totally based on this guy.
Yeah.
I also like how he's inexplicably like fucking dope sick or something and like keeps throwing up. Did I miss something in which they poisoned him?
Yes.
They do, don't they? Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Because Claire's disguise, well, not disguise, Claire is pretending to be a secretary of some kind. And I fucking jumped out my seat at this because that's real T-line shorthand on a notepad. And I was like, fucking T-line shorthand mentioned. I swear to God, in most episodes I mention a different job I've had, but I used to be a journalist. I've got a degree in journalism from Sunderland University. I used to work for the Sunday Sun in Newcastle. It's not related to the London Sun. I've got bylines in the Chronicle and the Journal and the Sunderland Echo as well. And so I was like, holy shit, that's real fucking T-line shorthand. I was really excited. I couldn't fully comprehend it. I was like, I think that's in at the start, and that's maybe like a really long M later on. But yeah, I was buzzing to see it was real T-line shorthand. That was class.
That was cool. Good insight. What the rest of the movies do is they show the rules of the heist that's going to happen. This is a bit like Oceans as well. they show the rules of the heist that's going to happen, and then what the rest of the movies do after this is they show like what successfully beating it would look like as well. They would show not only how the original guy gets into the room, it's also like what they're going to do to beat it and assume it works, So like you have like the plan that was not going to survive first contact with the enemy, but you see how the plan, if everything worked, would play out as well. You don't get that on this one, but that's fine because it's still awesome. So, but like real life, on this occasion, no plan survives first contact with the enemy, and it all starts to go a bit awry. It goes mostly okay. So in order to get initial access into Langley, they call in a fire. So they rock up as the fire brigade. They hack into the fire alarms in the building to make a sensor trip to allow them access into the building as the fire department. They go in there, and obviously they're all dressed in their firefighting rig, so no one can make out their faces and stuff. And it's Luther who has to be wired into a terminal. You've got Ethan Hunt and Krieger are going to go into the actual vault itself, and then you've got Claire takes the firefighting rig off, is dressed as a secretary, and then she just walks out and just blends in with the rest of the workforce. She goes into a breakout room, which Mr. Donlow is in as well, and he gets out his big Washington Post and is just sitting there reading. She sits uncomfortably close to him and then squirts a bit of poison, like an emetic poison, at the end of her pen, which he drinks into his coffee, and that's what makes him start.
I think I was just so blown away by the fact that I saw real ass T-line shorthand that I was like, I kind of must skipped over the fact that she drugged him just now, but yeah.
But to a seasoned hitman, world of assassination player that I am, I saw the emetic poison straight away. I was like, I know where he's going.
Nice.
So he gets back to his desk, immediately chucks into a bin, takes the bin into the heads, starts washing it out. It's a little bit of comedy value of him being sick and sick and sick and sick. And that's what buys him time to break into the vault. So yeah, they have this funky little gadget that gets past the wire net thing, the laser net over the top of the vault. They go in from above, creeping through the vents. One guy comes to check out where they are. There's two of you in here. Where's the third guy? And Ethan just kicks him, knocks him out straight away.
Yeah.
It's like, look. Krieger's about to kill him with a knife, and he's like, no body count. Because obviously, Krieger wants to do a high chaos run. Hunt wants to do a low chaos run.
I like how Jean Reno is playing a suspiciously violent Frenchman with a German name. Clearly he's descended from some very sketchy French Foreign Legionnaire who joined in the 90s and was very good with an MG-42 for some reason.
It runs in the family, don't ask.
And then we have the iconic scene of them lowering Ethan Hunt down into the vault. And then he's obviously meant to get lowered down. He does some typey, has to get pulled back up again at the rush. And then the MVP of the movie, a cute little rat, comes along and bothers John Reno, and Ethan Hunt gets dropped. And there's that whole iconic bit where he falls and just caught before he gets to the top of the floor, and he's like wobbling around for ages. Apparently when they were shooting that, Tom Cruise get hit his head off the floor. So to stop him doing that, he started putting loads of coins in his shoes to change the trim of his body.
Can I just say, cool. Something tells me he's a very short man in Hollywood. This is not the first time he's put things in his shoes for the benefit of his film career.
Yeah, or every occasion where he had to stand next to his wife, Nicole Kidman. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, so you get all that. What I love about this movie, and in this sequence in particular, is it does everything it does to make it tense. So you get the example of the floor pressure plate sensor going off when a single drop of water from the guy's iced tea drops on it during the briefing. And you see that happening, and it goes red, like the anti-Billie Jean floor. And then goes off really bad. And then for maximum cinematic look, you have an insane thing. Bear with me here. Ethan Hunt is wearing spectacles during this. He doesn't wear spectacles practically for the rest of the movie, but for some reason he needs spectacles during this sequence. Okay? I don't know why. Maybe there's a reason, I'm not sure. And then a bead of sweat comes from his head onto the outside of the frame, the lens of the glasses, drips across the lens, and then is about to drip off the frame of the glasses. And it looks cinematic as hell, but nobody sweats outside their glasses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the glasses thing is because that's where they've got their kind of cameras, right? The kind of glasses cams, something track
It's probably is that, isn't it?
Things are going,
Yeah, but
that's a massive sell of the MIC. That's a massive oversell of the military-industrial complex at that point, having kind of cameras that are so miniaturized you can wear normal-ass glasses with them, and it's just totally invisible.
they get the list from the computer, despite that rat. Oh, I like the bit when they're testing the microphone in the room by saying the word toast over and over
Yeah,
again.
I really like that.
Toast. I was watching it going, kind of fancy some toast.
Does anyone have any insight as to why they're using the word toast, by the way?
I haven't got any insight. If I was going to guess, I would say there's sibilance of the word, of the T.
Yeah,
the end,
it starts like a plosive at the start and the end, the toast. And then the...
Toast.
Yeah, so it's like a plosive and sibilance, yeah. Welcome to Clear and Present Dudes, when we deeply, deeply dissect why they used the word toast in this film. There is a high possibility that all of us in our childhood arranged toy cars in a sequence.
My God, what are we doing with our lives?
Good. Now for something completely different.
Yeah, and that thing is close-up magic. So... Tom Cruise gives the Nautilus to Krieger, and then he goes back to his hobby of typing into a laptop trying to set up a meeting. It's like he's forgotten which email address he's going into, because he's concentrating way too hard, trying to remember the typing it all in and looking at the Bible and stuff. Krieger's trying to get his attention. He's like, Ethan, I'm sorry, Mr. Hunt. And he's just getting chinned off. Eventually he throws the Bible on the floor and he's like, you're not going to take any meetings without me because I've got this. And then Tom Cruise does this incredible close-up magic sequence where he has another disc and he's like doing all these little things, making it disappear and picking out of Claire's coat and whipping out of his sleeve and throwing it around. And he convinces Krieger that Krieger's has got the real list. He's like, do you really think I'd give you the actual list? So Krieger throws it in the bin and walks out. And then Ethan picks it about the bin because it was the real list. I love that. That's so good.
It's just smart writing. It's spycraft. It's fun. It's. I think I may have said this in previous films that we've talked about. It's just smart people doing smart things in a smart script, and it's just really cool.
I like this. So this scene, they cut straight from Langley to like London. They're in a safe house in London. When I say this movie is goofy, this is the kind of thing I mean. There's no explanation for how they've got a safe house in London. It's just assumed that they're in a safe house, and I guess they've got one. Even though they're completely disavowed from the rest of the organisation, so how could they use its resources? Don't know. Yeah, he's obviously never had to fill in a budget control form and talk to the travel cell. That's fine.
I am doing that right now, and I want to die.
Yeah. So having all the fun of the fair there. I like the scene because it gives a good humanizing moment for Luther and sets him up, I think, for the kind of implies sequel bait that you get at the end of the movie as well, that Luther's going to be coming and joining the team. Yeah. Because he's like, he gives an Oculus to Luther and says, I'm going to trust you with it. You know what this means? And he's like, I won't let it get out. So he's like, this guy is like a naughty hacker, but he's got a heart of gold and a conscience. Ethan calls up Kittredge to kind of clue out that he's in England. So he has him on the phone just long enough that they can trace out he's in England, but nothing more. And then one of my favourite scenes happens. So Phelps just kind of appears next to him at the phone box, and we have the Ethan Hunt, Jim Phelps reunion. Yeah. And I love this because Jim Phelps starts telling him his side of the story about what happened during the botched mission in Prague. And he's blaming it on Kittredge and saying Kittredge is like set this whole thing up. And Hunt is going, yeah, no, I totally understand. Yeah, it must have been that. But then we're seeing what Hunt is thinking, and he's already sussed it out that it's all Phelps. And there's even one bit where he's thinking, did Claire set off that car bomb? Yeah. And he's like, no, hang on. No, it was Phelps. So you have like Claire's, you have like that bit where it looks like the Disaster Girl meme, where like the house is on fire and the girl's looking evilly at the camera.
Like, yeah, and she's like, yeah.
You have the same thing. So she sets off the car bomb, and then she turns to the camera and looks really evil. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, it could have been Phelps.
Yeah,
and you see Phelps
like, get out of the river, he checks his watch, and he's like, it's explosion time.
Bang. Yeah. So I love that bit because, again, it doesn't treat the audience like they're stupid. Like, we could have figured out that Phelps was behind it at the beginning. You see just enough of it to put that together. And then now it doesn't try to string you along that Phelps is like the good guy. Like, we know Phelps is a shit. Because we're seeing like Ethan figure it out there and then. Yeah. And the sort of the driving force from there is actually like, how's Hunt going to get out of this now? Because he's kind of playing into it. He's going to start playing along with Phelps and be part of Phelps' plan. So how's he going to outsmart Phelps and Kittredge and get out of this? is kind of like what's left. I don't think the movie like 100% nails it, but it gets pretty close, I think. What are your thoughts?
The whole station scene is incredible to me. I think I said out loud a few times, like, this is so fucking cool. Just, again, the way it's shot, it's like the whole, like, blocking in the scenes where people are, even down to kind of the colour grading and stuff. It's like a film from a different time. There's a big theme of, like, I don't know if this is a theme that probably is going to appear in a lot of these films. The idea of, like, the Cold War's ended. There's the old guard and there's, like, the new guard, and there's, like the crossover between them. Like in The State, or like the opening beats of Enemy of the State, or like a thriller from like the 70s, and then it goes into like, it's like super kinetic late 90s mode. But in this, it's shot in a very sedate kind of way that is from another time, and you've got this conversation between an old cold warrior and his young protege, and it's just like you're watching the terminus of two worlds at a literal terminus at a station. I think that's incredibly cool. It's liminal stage really in both their relationship in like the world's political situation and in the future of espionage and what people are going to do and how and stuff, you know?
It's a theme that we're going to see in a lot of these movies, which is intelligence agencies suddenly no longer having the influence they had on central government that they used to. And then certain members of those agencies whipping up stuff so that they can reclaim a bit of tribal land grabbing again for their respective agencies.
There's that fantastic line, for the President of the United States is running the country without your permission, how dare he? And it's like, how dare he?
Yeah, exactly that, isn't it? It reflects something that kind of happened in real life, which is Cold War drew to a close, and then there was a moment where everyone was like, great, thank fuck, this is an opportunity for us all now to reduce our defense spending so our countries have a fucking fighting chance of making it through the economically shitstorm of the 1980s. After the previous economic shitstorm of the 1970s, you know? So I think everybody willed it into existence a little bit, didn't they? And then people in the military, people in the intelligence community were all still very much saying like, yeah, I get it. The focus is shifting away from Russia. I get it. But the threat hasn't really gone away. It's just kind of developing and changing. And now we're in a situation where, weirdly, and almost nostalgically, we are back very much on the front foot looking towards Russia as our primary adversary. And China, obviously, is a big concern for the United Kingdom. China is probably America's primary adversary at the minute. And their relationship with Russia is deeply contentious.
And deeply concerning as well.
Indeed. This movie happens in a moment where, and we talked about this with Enemy of the State, and we talked about it with Op Center as well.
Yeah.
Where the adversary wasn't as clear to find.
Yeah.
And what would happen a couple of years after this was that everything would become vaguely Middle Eastern, which would get hammered home after 9/11, and then it would become the Middle East as the big bad. And then it would become any insurgency, and then any terrorist organization for a while, and now we're back to a good old peer conflict.
Yeah, because I think like before everything like swung like vaguely Middle Eastern and like thriller properties, the focus was kind of on like, oh well, Eastern Europe now it's been like de-Sovietized. There's going to be this like powder keg, and
you have all these newly formed countries that are still massively under the influence of the old guard. And
I remember all these like breathless newspaper articles talking about the proliferation of these like surmised Soviet briefcase nukes. The newspapers like the Telegraph and stuff were getting themselves incredibly lubricated about.
Yeah. Crazy times. Yeah, right indeed. Oh, we're actually kind of near the end of the movie now. This movie bounces along, by the way. It is swift, and I think as they go on, I think they all get progressively a bit longer, don't they? There's a lot of bloat. You haven't seen Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning yet, but mate, those films are at least twice as long as they need to be.
Yeah,
each.
I think Mission Impossible 2 could have had 20 minutes cut out of it.
Yeah, or an hour and 20 minutes kind of it.
It could have been a Metallica music video, basically. They could have. Go on.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to not cut in, but the whole Liverpool Street scene sort of was giving me noir vibes, just in
Totally.
color-ish, I guess. I was mostly irritated by just the absolute downpour of rain. That was just like rainy London at that extent,
Yeah.
it's just such a detective novel cliche.
Yeah.
But every time I've been in London, no matter the time of year, I've just absolutely been scorched. There's been no rain whatsoever. But
Yeah.
it's
Like
just
it's either foggy London town or rainy London town, and it's like
Yeah, there's a
so-
scene towards the end where a helicopter lands on a helipad opposite Tower Bridge, where it's like still a nice day. But you're right, like that is the trope, isn't it?
yeah.
it's like we dug up Conan Doyle and put him in front of the camera, and he did a thing, and now it's raining.
Yeah.
But no, you hit a really good point about like that being like quite a noir scene, and you're totally right. I think a lot of it as well comes like
It's
obviously
just
like atmospherics
the
and
camera
stuff,
panning up
environments.
to
Yeah.
the upstairs room as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like of course with noir, like I mean it's something like it's Rory again with his bullshit, but like the city is the star of the of a film noir, you know, and like the architecture that you see and stuff, and that's very noir. There's another very noir scene later on that we'll get to in probably a few minutes because this film does batter on at quite a pace. Later on the train in the kind of like cargo part of the train
Yeah.
where the
Yeah.
lighting is just incredibly noir.
Yeah, big time. I'll cue it up a little bit. Someone pretends to believe Phelps and arranges to exchange the actual knock list with Max on board the it says TGV, but it's like Eurostar, isn't it?
Yeah,
to
that
Paris.
was weird.
So no,
Here we go.
the trains mentioned,
Transport
It's
citizen.
really into transportation,
guys. The
specifically
TGV.
trains.
So the TGV, the Tram Grand Vitesse, it's essentially like a French like intercity fast train. It's not the Eurostar, which is a totally different train. So the TGV doesn't leave France.
And yet they're about to go through the channel.
Yeah, I mean, I may be wrong. I'm sure the TGV doesn't actually leave.
No, I think
France
you're right.
and like the Eurostar
Trans
is, yeah,
Europe Express.
Trans Europe Rendezvous on the Champs-Elysees. Seminal German band Kraftwerk, and Sanya was just staring blankly at the camera like, I don't want to react to these men mentioning my countrymen.
Are you old enough to know who Kraftwerk are?
Would you like me to get my mum?
Sanya, isn't your mum like a year older than me?
Shut up.
I'm just saying she is. I'm just saying. It
Anyway,
isn't a threat,
this cheese is
Sanya.
surprisingly buttery.
Isn't Sanya, me saying your mum's a year older than me isn't a threat, by the way. I am happily married, and so is your mum. But I'm just saying, this is making me feel old if you're saying you're going to recruit your mum to talk about Kraftwerk.
I don't want to be on a podcast where I'm sharing it with a son and his stepdad. That's not a friendship dynamic I want to be part of.
Yeah, this is.
Nick, please help. They are arguing in the living room again.
You see, this is where the podcast shifts to a really bad sitcom. A sitpod. A sitpodcom. Sitpod.
Yeah.
We have just willed the horror
Podcom.
that is a sitpod into being, by the way. That's an awful idea. And hope no one ever does this.
The next day, Max and Ethan arrange to meet on board the TGV en route to Paris, with Claire and Luther on board to provide backup. Kitteridge is also on board, having recently arrived in London and received tickets to the TGV and a video watch from Hunt. In the train, Ethan delivers the supposed knock list to Max remotely. He gives her a call, and she's got it like it's like being on Oprah. It's like, oh, if you look under your chair, man, everybody gets a knock list. You get a knock list, and she's like, oh, great, oh God, I hope this doesn't preclude an in-person meeting, because she's like super horny for him. Wonderful. And then her and a little dweeb nerd guy.
A little dweeb. It really was a great time for like a dweeby sidekick, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he's like, I can't seem to log on. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm not connected to the modem. She's like struggling to, because she has to like upload it somewhere to verify, I think, is the purpose of that. And Luther's there with some kind of like short range jammer, which he like has on his like table, which is like just along from hers. And he tries just to like leave it on the table and get up and walk away.
But it's inexplicably fucking flashing and shaped like a mobile phone as well. So a train attendant just picks it up and gives him it. It's like,
yeah, sir, you left this behind. I'm like,
sir, you could have built it into like any shape, right? You could have built it into like anything, you know? Ashtray, probably smoked on trains back then. It's France, they probably still do, you know?
I don't understand why he doesn't like. Obviously, you've got like a train has a little. The scene funny has a little tray table. I think he had an actual table, not sure. But like, is there not like a little pouch you could have like hid it in on the chair in front or something, like on airplanes?
I mean, you could literally just like shove it in the upholstery, couldn't you? Just like
You could have, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like put it like in the little overhead baggage compartment or something.
Yeah.
Like that. So anyway, it's not so incredibly obvious.
yeah. I mean, like it's not like a metro train when you've got like a 10-wheel metro train when you've got like the upholstery then like some metal, so you can't push anything under it. Like when the pure checkies come on, or
Down Metro.
flash of chromium yellow.
It's our eat.
Just on the subject of trains, I have just checked, and technically they are the same train. So Eurostar and the French National Rail line used the same stock.
The same stock, right?
They used the same engines, and it used to be initially the same TGV models running through the channel from.
There we go. Yeah, because I was gonna say it's in TGV livery. Yeah,
But
so-
Eurostar was founded together with the opening of the channel. So while technically, mechanically, a TGV, you probably wouldn't have found one with a French National Rail Service TGV livery on it.
yeah. Does this mean that we're all right? That we're all correct? No, it means I'm wrong. I'm happy to take the L. Good research.
Well, yes and no. You are correct in that the TGV livery seems to be a SNCF thing applied only nationally, but it is still the same train.
Yeah. You realise,
So we
did you just say no but there, or a yes and? Because I think you did. I think you did, mate.
Ooh.
This is the moment that the podcast started arguing amongst itself.
Yes.
We will never become an improv podcast, by the way. I'm looking directly down the barrel of the camera at this, just in case anyone thinks this is us trying to foreshadow anything for some second fucking season when we start, like, we're all standing together on some poorly lit stage and someone's like, oh, barber shop in Byzantium. Oh, someone said barber shop in Byzantium. Okay, cool. And I'm a professional shit farmer. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, and...
Ian,
No,
as
we
if
aren't
that
gonna do
bastard
that.
took the last can of wax.
Claire, observing Kit Richards' presence on board the train, vacates her seat and meets with Phelps in the luggage car, confirming her part in the conspiracy. A silent Phelps slowly peels away his mask, revealing himself as Ethan. The betrayal. Claire was in on it. And then Phelps appears. Right, this is when, you know, I was saying earlier on, like, this movie's goofy as fuck. This is what I mean. So, where did Ethan get that with a mask of Phelps from, to be sat there as Phelps? And how long was he sat in that car as Phelps, whilst Phelps is also concealed in the same car?
It's wild to me.
They should have given Phelps a Ethan Hunt mask.
Yeah. Oh, this is what I said. I said, right, I was watching it with Fisher earlier, and I said, Ethan had the Phelps mask. Claire should have had an Ethan mask. And then Phelps should have had a Claire mask. They all should have, like, like, who's who? I don't know who's who. Yeah.
The only explanation that makes sense, and it barely makes sense, is that the mask is reversible and has an Ethan Hunt face on the inside. So Ethan just walks around with his face on his face.
And
That's the only way it can be.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know
all
what?
the time.
You know what would have been even better? Phelps with a Hunt mask with a Phelps mask over it. So he could
Yes.
have revealed himself as Ethan Hunt
Yes.
to do a loyalty test on his wife,
Yes.
and then gone, "Fuck you."
It was me all
It
along.
was me
You've
all
been
along.
double played.
He
Double mask, bitch.
he absolutely seems like the kind of guy who would like do loyalty tests on his suspiciously young wife, wouldn't he? Like you'd kind of like get like younger guys, you know, like send her texts and stuff, and then it's like, I
Yeah.
see you continue to pass your loyalty tests. Well done.
Anyone's seen that? I don't know what the show is. It's like Gordon Ramsay had a show where he was like put on these really elaborate disguises and then go out in the world, and like one of them is where he is. It's like
that one video clip where he's got that horrible mask
that
on.
giant mask. He's like a giant head. He's like an airline pilot with a giant head. Like they should have had like, that's what the mask should have looked like in the movie. They should have been like that ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like but then like have like the Phelps mask just be like this giant ridiculous one. Is like, if you got bloaty head disease from Theme Hospital.
It just turns up looking like something from fucking Roblox or something like that.
I guess what we haven't seen in the background is that Ethan has figured out a little plan of attack with Kittredge, so they've become like secret allies, because then he puts on his glasses so you can see Phelps is alive and well.
Yeah.
And then he's like saying to Kittredge, like, it's not me, it's this fucking guy.
Yeah.
This guy who faked his own death. Pretty suspicious.
Yeah.
Huh? And that is that. Says to Ethan a whole thing about thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife, which is foreshadowed a little bit. So I talked about the deleted bit from the screenplay. There is another scene where it's in the safe house in London. Claire goes up to Ethan and gives him like a peck on the cheek, and then Ethan kind of does this thing where he holds it with his finger for a second, and then he kind of doesn't know what to think, and then he kind of walks away for a second. Then he goes and speaks to Luther, and it's a bit like, yeah, he doesn't really know how to feel about that. Like, ooh, well, I love Claire, but I shouldn't love Claire. It's bad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when she like comes to the safe house in Prague, like obviously there's the scene when the kind of almost
Very sexually charged.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Something boiled my piss about that scene, actually, when he draws his gun on her, and obviously he thinks she's a threat, and then immediately turns his back on her to see if there's any other threats in the room. It's like, fucking, come on, dude. Spycraft, come on, man.
He wrestles her onto
What do you mean
the bed.
sexually charged? Do you not randomly put your hands into your co-workers' faces while talking to them?
Yeah, I know, right? No, I don't. No, we have rules about that. Phelps shoots Claire, which I thought was so uncalled for, but I guess it just made sense for and presumably she dies because we don't see her again.
Yeah.
So that's pretty brutal. And that's just her out the movie now. And then we have the on top of the train fight sequence.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. So we talked about the Untouchables and how that had a train fight sequence cut from the movie because for budget and stuff. This is I guess a train fight sequence that we never got. It's pretty good. It's a combination of miniature, bit of green screen.
Yeah.
I liked it better when it was a fight on top of a train between two guys. As ridiculous as that is, it's a pretty well trodden trope. People get on top of trains and having fights.
It's in one of the Bond films, right?
Yeah, it's in that new Indiana Jones movie as well.
Captain America.
It's also in another Mission Impossible movie as well. So
And like in the Bond film, another vehicle is involved.
yeah. So this is the bit where this is what's going to come on to. So this might be controversial, but I am not a big fan of Krieger flying the helicopter. You mentioned that you can fly a helicopter earlier on.
Yeah.
I get it. That's not the thing that annoys me. I'm just annoyed by the helicopter sequence in general, like the whole planned exfil via helicopter,
Yeah, that's a bit over the top.
and then it going into the tunnel. And I'm just thinking, I don't think the helicopter would have been able to fly.
I think
in
it
the
would have.
tunnel.
I am having the strong suspicion that this
Yeah.
is a small commercial helicopter. I don't think it could go as fast as the train, even without being attached to it. I think it
Yeah.
would just snap its rotor blades the second it starts being pulled around.
Yeah. So
I think would simply not be able to. I imagine not a pilot, not an aeronautical engineer, just a guy who got really upset when he was a kid that the colours on Spot the Dog's beach ball were in the wrong order at the end of the book. But I wonder if due to the essentially jet wash from the train, the kind of turbulence that I've generated maybe as well, would a helicopter be able to even sustain lift? And
that's exactly what I was going to say.
control?
I don't think it actually sustain lift because obviously it's reliant on downwash pushing it up, kind of thing. The force created by you pushing it down, and if that force is then being dissipated around in a circle around the helicopter, then surely it just becomes a turbulent fuckabout and it immediately loses control. Another thing that annoyed me about that is, so they have the fight. They kind of fight their way along the back of the train. They get to the point where at the very end of the train, the helicopter's here. Phelps has jumped onto the landing skid bits of the helicopter, and Krieger goes, oh, I know what would be really fun if while I'm flying this helicopter through the Channel Tunnel, which incidentally means you're flying this helicopter in a tunnel for miles and miles and miles now,
Yeah.
whilst attached to the back of a train. Insane. I know what I'll do. I'll also decapitate Ethan Hunt with the rotor blades, because obviously these rotor blades getting the slightest bit of resistance is now exactly what I need.
Yeah.
Like this isn't going to make us all die.
You are all going to die, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty fucking goofy. Also, there's a bit of a cameo here by David Schneider.
Yeah.
Who, at this point in time, I think was just in the Friday Night Armistice and other bits of Armando Iannucci, but he wasn't in... He would have been in the original Alan Partridge series as well by this point.
I'm sure he had some appearances in The Day-to-Day.
The Day-to-Day, Brass Eye.
Jam, which wasn't out at that point.
Yep.
And
then I'm Alan Partridge after this, which he was in as Tony Hare's, the commissioning editor of the BBC. Smell my cheese in my mouth.
Yeah. And of course, a couple of years later, maybe more, a couple of years later, in 28 Days Later, as the It's Pure Rage guy at the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
Gets his face eaten straight away.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, so, I thought it was goofy as fuck. One of those things that you would see in a 90s movie, but I don't think you'd see now, is like you'd get it in a Bond movie, but it wouldn't be as on the nose as this. The whole bit where he stands up and then faints again, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I've got another issue. So even the first model of Eurostar train was electrified. So how do you fly a helicopter through that?
Oh, yeah, it's
where's this thing getting its power up from?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Yeah. I mean, like, are we talking like a hot rail, or we're talking like power supply in the ceiling?
We're talking overhead wiring.
Overhead wiring.
Wires,
oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think basically we need to throw the whole movie in the bin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the train
bullshit.
guys say no, it's bullshit.
Waste of time. Fucked it.
Yeah.
They had one job.
Man, so much potential. Could have been a good movie as well. That's a real shame.
Fucking dog shit.
All right, cool. Well, good night. We've been with Clear and Present Dudes.
Bye. Cheers. Take it easy. Yeah. Fuck.
Of course, that's not where it ends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. So, pretty much where it ends, though. So, inevitably, that helicopter crashes, spins and spins and spins. You get a really comical little bit where the Ethan Hunt's lying back on the remaining bit of the train cab, which is stopping, and the blades like slowly rest on their final resting place, which is a really sharp, knackered rotor blade pointing directly at his throat.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
And then we get probably the least believable scene in the movie, which is the bit at the very end, wrapping it up, where Tom Cruise appears to be at the end of a pint.
Yeah, that was. I was really impressed at how unbelievable that was. In fact, it's just unbelievable that he could have, drank in general. Even when you see him like drink it, like it's like you know that fluid's not touching his fucking mouth.
Tell you what I like about it is, obviously it's impossible to confirm what beer it was. It looks a bit like maybe Boddington's or something, which is one of those beers that's like a mild in Britain but is weirdly popular in America.
Yeah, or like London Pride or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Did the Fuller Supremacy exist in 1996? Maybe.
Yeah, Fuller's was a player at that point. I'm sure.
Yeah. What I like about this is that this is culturally around the same moment as, but probably precedes the moment of lager, just like obliterating the beer market.
Yeah, so it's nice to see them drinking like real ale.
Yeah.
Martin Clunes hasn't wandered in from an episode of Men Behaving Badly with 2 pints of Carlin in his hand and just ruined the whole thing, just fucking biffed it. No,
ruined beer for everybody.
It is a good scene. And it's nice to see American characters drinking that. Oh, you got the warm British beer there, son. Oh, simmer down, man. So, like, everybody be cool. It takes all sorts, lad.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, we have that final bit. So, I didn't even mention it. So, the helicopter's exploded by the final use of the gum. So, Chekhov's cool plastic gum is used to do that. Max is caught up with by Kitteridge.
Yeah.
He's about to threaten her, and she's like, "Oh, my lawyers will have a field day with this jurisdictional overreach and entrapment." And she's like, "Hang on a minute. Let's try and keep the lawyers out of this." And she's like, "I must have something you want," and it's like corruption. Ha ha.
Yeah.
We have the final scene in the pub where Luther is kind of like expunged of all his crimes. He's a free man. What's he going to do with his life? Obviously, join the IMF.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a prototype for like getting the choice kind of scene that will happen in the later movies. And then final scene is some perfect sequel bait where Tom Cruise is on a British Airways flight.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were good back in the 90s. They aren't now. But yeah, sure.
Agreed.
And then we get like a kind of a reprise of the Jim Phelps introduction sequence.
Would you like to watch
Attendant.
a movie?
Would you like to watch it? And she's like, and he's like, I don't know. I was like, perhaps the cinema of the Caribbean, Aruba, perhaps. It's like, so that kind of takes us to the end of the movie. I only had a couple of things I wanted to point out before we break for categories, which is music by Danny Elfman. Mostly okay.
The scores are fucking wild. It is mostly okay. Like it hits a few like kind of not so perfect bits, but I think
bits I don't like.
I think I commented at the time. It's nice to see a film with a fucking score, with like a real ass score by a real ass composer.
Melodic and stuff. It isn't just like a bunch of noises or a load of bed music.
Yeah, because that's what. Because that's what shit composers like me do.
No, but it became like an easy thing for action cinema to do. It's just like, well, we'll just bang a load of drums on it and nothing else.
Well, yeah. Like so, just like for these scenes, like lively woodwinds and strings interacting with them and stuff, and it's like a kind of, and it's a thriller. It doesn't need to have that in it, yet it does, and.
I like it. It pays homage, I think, to Lalo Schifrin's original iconic theme tune. Obviously, the theme tune's reprised because it has to be. But the rest of the score, I mean, kind of is in that similar sort of vein. You know, you got the bongos and the flutes and all that kind of stuff going crazy.
Yeah.
I like that. There's only a couple of bits where it kind of fell a bit flat for me, which is there's a really weird triumphant bit when Ethan makes the jump from the back of the train onto the helicopter.
Yeah, that wasn't
And it was like, that was weirdly kind of like... It was like triumphant and very major and kind of like very in your face. And
well, I mean, the score's Danny Elfman, isn't it? And I think
his
wheelhouse is doing things a bit kind of weird and a bit off kilter. And so if you want to get Danny Elfman to do something like heroic, it's like not going to land perfectly, you know.
So Danny Elfman is obviously very famous for working with Tim Burton a shit ton, and it's probably his best work. My personal opinion is when he was working on the Batman. Movies, right? If I'm 100% sure that is definitely him, I think it is. But Batman Returns,
the Simpsons theme tune as well.
Yeah. So that was interesting. Editing was the same editor who did the Untouchables. A lot of the same crew that from the Untouchables that Brian De Palma brought with him. So it's Paul Hirsch who did the editing, same as Untouchables. Stephen Burham is DP, also same as Untouchables. Obviously, the big difference is the producers. So obviously, Cruise and Paula Wagner did the production. I did like the cool extra credit for special makeup effects, which is pretty good, by Rob Bottin. Special makeup effects. Obviously, his background is in special effects. Before he did this movie, his kind of big career hits were makeup effects were RoboCop and Total Recall.
That explains a lot.
And The Thing as well.
That really explains a lot, actually. It's like the general quality that he's bringing out. Yeah, holy shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so an incredible crew on this movie as well. That's all kind of what I talk about, really. Just kind of highlight some of the awesome kind of pedigree of the crew.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Cool. Welcome back. We're just going to go through the categories now, as we always do, starting with casting. Kristin Scott Thomas has a very small role at the start of this movie, but she's obviously like a tremendous actress, very well known, I think, but worth highlighting anyway. Around this sort of time, she'd just done. I think her big break might have just come from 4 Weddings and a Funeral, a couple of years before this. So that was pretty cool. And then she'd go on to do The English Patient after this, I think, the next year. So that's obviously a big moment for her. Of course, now she's currently in Slow Horses as second desk Diana Taverner at MI5. So she's stuck with a spy game. But cool. The main one I want to bring up is he's easy to miss if you're not looking out for him. Dale Dye is the guy who plays Kit Ridge's like number 2, like his sort of guy he's always bitching off orders to.
Yeah.
And Dale Dye is like a great character actor. I mentioned it earlier on, but I'll go through his career properly. So he plays Frank Barnes in this movie, but he's in Platoon, he's in Spy Game, he's also in, I'm just going to scale all the way back to the beginning. So some context, he does an absolute ton of military consultancy work. So he's got like special thanks in loads of stuff. So Invaders from Mars, technical advisor, Platoon, technical advisor, Casualties of War, Born on the 4th of July, So you can see that's maybe how like Tom Cruise met him and got on the job. Jacob's Ladder, Stockade, Dogfight, JFK, technical advisor again. Last of the Mohicans, technical advisor. Forrest Gump, Natural Born Killers, absolute ton. And then his actual credits as an actor are also just as many. There's loads. So again, he's an infantry colonel in Born of the 4th of July. He's in the Fourth War. He's in again. He's in JFK, like I mentioned. Under Siege, he's in as well. He's also in Band of Brothers. He is Colonel Robert F. Sink. He's in 7 episodes of that. So I think he also comes out to visit them during the Battle of the Bulge sequence. Do you remember that?
Yeah, he's done so much video game voice acting work. Medal of Honor Allied Assault, the utterly batshit Medal of Honor Rising Sun, which is just crazy as Medal of Honor games go. Holy crap. Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. The one absolute not good film in this appears to be Sniper Special Ops, it's a Steven Seagal film, but it's not one of the limited 5 or 6 Steven Seagal films that are cool.
There's a guy in here called, a German actor called Andreas Wisniewski, I want to say. That pronunciation's probably terrible. He's the long-haired blonde guy who's wearing the ginormous coat, so he's got the humongous shoulders, who's Max's bodyguard.
Yeah.
He's the guy who's sitting on the bench during that bit. He's in Die Hard. He's in The Living Daylights as Necros. He's in obviously this Mission Impossible, but he also returns in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol as well as a different character. The Fog's contact. So he's Max's companion, and now he's the Fog's contact as well. He's in Scorpion King. And then, around all that, he's also in 2 episodes of The Bill.
Incredible.
This is fantastic. Henry Czerny, I mentioned it before, I'm going to mention him again. Obviously, he's Robert Ritter in Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
He's also in The Pink Panther in 2006. He obviously makes a return to the Mission Impossible franchise. In the meantime, he's also done one of those Netflix holiday movies. He was in Schitt's Creek, and he's in Scream 6. He's also in, this is pretty cool, you know, they made a bunch of Blade Runner, remember, the Animatrix? They did, a similar thing for Blade Runner 2049, where they made a bunch of animated shorts, and he's in one of those as well. Quotes. You've definitely got some quotes, my friend.
An absolute bar is, you want to shake hands with the devil, that's fine with me. I just want to make sure you do it in hell. That's what a
What's that mean?
line. What a line. That's up there with there's no way you can kill me that matters or something. It's from that meme. It's like, you can't kill me in any way that matters. It's bars. Absolute bars. It's a cold fucking line. It's a film with some excellent quotes in it. But that one's one of the best of them, definitely.
Yeah.
And the one about the just Jim Phelps's whole bit. Will you think about it even if it was inevitable? No more Cold War, no more secrets you keep from yourself, answer to no one but yourself. Then you wake up one morning and find out the president is running the country without your permission. The son of a bitch, how dare he? Then you realise it's over. You're an obsolete piece of hardware, not worth upgrading. You got a lousy marriage and 62 grand a year. Counterpoint though, is his marriage that lousy? I mean, he's really punching with his wife,
He's tremendously punching, yeah.
I mean, his marriage isn't that bad. I mean, he's concerned that she's having sex with Ethan. I mean,
also, adjusted for inflation as well, that 62 grand a year is probably significantly more now.
Yeah, and you could literally just set yourself up doing any kind of private security consultant work, which will be easier and lower stakes than IMF stuff as well. You could kind of just chill and run security for PricewaterhouseCoopers or something for the rest of your career, and then retire with your suspiciously young wife. It's fine. You don't need to do this stupid shit, man. Come on, buddy.
I love. I mentioned it earlier. I like when Ethan Hunt's giving Jack shit during the heist at the beginning. Yes. When he's got the big foghorn leghorn voice on going like,
so good.
Jack, I believe we did have a Jack, an unreliable fellow as I recall, constantly late and behind in his work. I was forced to tie him behind one of my best stallions and drag him around my barn for a few days.
I was for a few days. Yeah. It quickly pivots from a bit of a lark to the destruction of a human.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's like driving for a few days. The body was fed to the pigs. Sorry, go on.
Hasta lasagna. Don't get any anya. Any more quotes? Kittredge, you've never seen me very upset.
I really like that my mom was a little confused how the DEA could mistake her and Uncle Donald for a couple of dope smugglers in the Florida Keys. Because not only is it a quite funny line that I think's well delivered, it also neatly ties up how they kind of got the family out of it. Like, you see, there was this little mistake, and it's like a neat little sentence that kind of clears up plot holes. And I like that. I like that both as a quote, which is funny and well delivered, and as writing, which clears plot holes up in a really unobtrusive kind of fun way.
It's a weird bit of plot motivation for Ethan Hunt. I don't know if we needed it.
Yeah.
I think him just being on the run because he's assumed guilty and needs to clear his name is probably enough.
Yeah.
We don't need to have, because we don't see the family apart from in one news report.
One. Dying slowly in America, after all, can be a very expensive proposition.
Yeah, Kittredge. Yeah, that's a good one.
Holy shit. Cold ass lines, man. Incredibly cold. Hold
Relevant.
up. His writing is this fire.
Cool. Right. Needle drops. There's only one needle drop for me in this movie. I don't know if you've spotted any more. It's in the pub at the very end. Dreams by the
Cranberries. Yeah.
And I was like, yes, awesome.
Quite a few letterboxd reviews reference that song and that scene.
Evergreen song. Absolutely fantastic. Total tune. Absolute bop. And that's not just because the millennial in me talking. Trivia. Okay, I've been peppering a little bit of trivia throughout the movie. But there's some good ones here from IMDb. So not only is this the only film in the franchise where Ethan Hunt doesn't fire a gun, it is the only one not to have any shootouts or gunfights at all.
Right. That's a very good point. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, all the combat is hand to hand, and there's not that much of it actually.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise deferred his $20 million fee for a percentage of the box office takings instead.
Incredible.
Ended up earning $70 million, so yeah, incredibly wise indeed. This is weird and racially charged. The producers, i.e. Tom Cruise and Paula Wagner, cast Ving Rhames as Luther because they felt he was the opposite of what a hacker normally looks like. I suppose if you were to say what does a hacker normally look like, if you're looking at cinema, you'd have to say Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Or what's his name from Elementary?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, tip of my tongue.
In Shallow Grave.
Johnny Lee Miller.
Johnny Miller, yeah.
When did Hackers come out? 95. So I guess. I mean, I am pretty sure that. Yeah, there were non-white people in the team in Hackers.
I love that. Also, if you're going to look at that, right, another movie that came out in 1995 that had hackers in was The Net.
Yeah.
Starring Sandra Bullock. And I suppose Ving Rhames is the opposite of Sandra Bullock.
It's the opposite of Sandra Bullock. What does that even mean? How do we even come to these like decisions? The platonic opposite of her is Ving Rhames. How?
I'm actually wearing. This is weird. I'm actually wearing a T-shirt that celebrates the film Practical Magic.
Holy shit!
Starring Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman.
It's incredible.
Record Channing, Diane Wiest. Yeah. Diane Wiest fiction.
Yeah. I've just pulled up some trivia of my own. I've just found a transcription of the T-line shorthand from the cafeteria scene. It reads, "Remember to telephone Mr. Smith to clear all security files combinations lock in /4 filing cabinet. Make lunch arrangements with William Pugh for next Tuesday. Check through ... make ... for next." You see, someone says, yeah, well done for them using real shorthand Pitmans instead of some props department scribble. This looked like T-line to me. This really looked like T-line to me.
While you're talking about that, I can't believe we didn't touch on this in casting. I didn't realize this, but Emilio Estevez isn't credited in this film.
Yeah.
So that whole thing is one big uncredited cameo.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Have we talked about this already before? But Tom Cruise does lots of cameos in Emilio Estevez films.
Yeah. I'm sure you mentioned it at some point. Maybe not on the pod, but maybe in like our group chat.
Possibly, yeah. So there's a sequence in Young Guns where Tom Cruise is in the background in Young Guns during like a shootout scene and stuff for like a while. This is quite cool. According to Emilio Estevez, the scene of the IMF team gathered around discussing the mission that opens the movie was added at the suggestion of George Lucas. So I said it was different from the screenplay.
Yeah.
Added at the suggestion of George Lucas, who said the movie needed a spaghetti scene, a scene where they are all sitting around discussing what's next. The cast was brought back during reshoots to film the scene.
Right.
And I agree with that. I think they do need a little bit at the beginning where there's no tension on, so you understand who the people are, the dynamics, who's pals, before they're straight into work mode.
Yeah. It makes you more invested when most of them get horribly murked in the next, 15 minutes, too. So,
Exactly, yeah, totally. Jim Phelps is the only character from the original TV series in this movie. Apparently there's quite a lot of blowback from fans of the TV show when they kind of took like the beloved main character of the TV series and turned him into like a bad guy who gets murked. At the time, I can kind of understand that. Quite a ballsy move by, let's face it, Tom Cruise, to make that happen.
Let's do the oversell of the military industrial complex. Haven't done it in a while, but this one really fits our we're bringing it back from the dead, guys. We're bringing it back, the most egregious oversell of the military industrial complex, with this film that really does put a large amount of mustard on the MIC.
Oh yeah, big time. This is like, it's probably more, it's a fantasy movie, isn't it? It's even more egregious than like Enemy of the State. But Enemy of the State was meant to make you believe it was kind of vaguely realistic. But this is ridiculous. Fidelity of the cameras, the tiny little pin buttonhole cameras they've got, the interfaces and all the tracking software they've got for the little tracking devices.
It's like, it's wild because
the chewing gum.
Yeah, the gum.
The only gum my government gives me is to do the opposite of constipation after a field week.
The net explosive quantity of that gum
technically probably counts as an explosive.
An interesting thing about this film, and it's like kind of a relationship with technology, is that it both acknowledges the fact that things like Usenet and Netscape Navigator, because you do see Netscape Navigator being used, exist, but also you've got, it's a drum I've beaten earlier tonight, but these glasses that have miniaturized cameras in them so small that they're completely unobtrusive and can't be seen at all in the slightest, and have these as picture perfect images. I mean, you would struggle to do that like today, like right now. Like tiny little fuck-ass 1990s wireframe glasses, essentially, incredibly dad-coded, with just like, there's just an invisible camera that gets perfect quality shots. That's definitely one of the biggest oversells.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how the polarized lenses of the sunglasses worked either.
So I mean,
with the spray agent that showed up on them.
Yeah. So it's like, what is it? Like,
I can't tell.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, is it some sort of radiation?
Or like spectrometer or something? It's like,
yeah.
Because I know it's like kind of just predator vision, isn't it? Really, but it's like, but yeah, like I mean, the idea of like the kind of perfume kind of chemical spray mark on someone's really cool, obviously, but then like you've got these like just really normal ass kind of glasses that just show this like non-visible light spectrum, I guess, or stop trying to assess this film, Rory. Shut up, go for Hollywood. But it's like, yeah,
the vaults that they have specifically for the one terminal that stores the knock list on.
Yeah.
That's over the top.
Yeah, it's
obviously, and it's great for like the heist of the movie. I get it, and we have to like have a bit of context here.
Pardon me, like has to exist in order for a lot of the film to work, but it's also a big old oversell.
It's also a redonky donk.
I have 2 of these rooms, and I use them to store my cheese.
I think the biggest one, and I hate to say it, but it's the masks, man, isn't it? The masks are too good.
Yeah.
But that's a classic Mission Impossible thing. We're going to see it through like nearly all the other movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, good category though, because there's a big oversell. But it's like oversell of the military industrial complex in Lord of the Rings, isn't it? Like, might as well be like Grond. Who's got the money for a Grond?
Right. As Saruman's head orc clearly noted, we do not have the Smith output to generate
by the roots, mate.
to generate armor and handheld weaponry. So how are we going to manufacture such a several multi-million complex project such as Grond? I think the introduction of the Grond strike group has overstretched the capacity of the Royal Navy to the breaking point, and
I think Sauron's procurement of a Grond is a great what's the word I'm looking for? Metaphor for military procurement. Like, right, okay, what do we need? We need a battering ram. Yes, but I think it should be in the shape of a giant wolf that breathes fire.
it's clearly a symptom of something larger. After the breaching of Helm's Deep, we have seen discussion after discussion whether the battering ram has become obsolete with the introduction of explosive powder. Yet even the Dark Lord himself clearly thinks that the battering ram still has value.
Problem is, right, is that a lot of Mordor's economy is based on the battering ram building business. So, and the problem is not bigger battering rams or smaller battering rams. It's mass. We need more battering rams. Okay, and that's the only way we're gonna be able to stop all these refugees coming into Mordor. Okay,
So
and that's.
maybe if we take this is just another authoritarian regime desperately trying to create jobs.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
There's obviously not enough jobs going for the native.
There apparently is a vast need for large amount of jobs that are unskilled labor, and clearly swinging a giant battering ram is not an academic job.
You know what? And do you notice that swinging that big Grond battle ram? It wasn't just the giant trolls guys; it was some of the ordinary orcs, because they had to prove that the troll guys went like a DEI hire.
You see, the union got involved for that one. Like the Orc Union got involved, and they're like, "Listen, we see what you're doing here, so we're gonna make sure that you're taking quotas on of our guys as well." But it's like, I mean, yeah, you're totally right. Like the idea is like they've got like the whole like flame throwing aspect of Grond means that like they've like because like it's a battering ram plus shit burns, right? And it's like they've got like just bring in as many contractors on it as they can. I mean, the design process took ages. They brought in loads of different like teams, various shamans, wizards, and freaks just coming to add things on it. There was like 6
Designed
months.
by committee.
Yeah, like I mean, there was. I was there at the time.
Yes.
There was a whole 6 months when they were fighting over the size of various ridges and like nodules and knobs on it and stuff. So. But like I said, it's all about just maintaining the economy at this point. Do you want all these orcs and whatever unemployed? No, because at this point, they're going to start listening to that fucking Hobbit music, right? They're going to start smoking the Hobbit's pipeweed. It's going to warp the minds. And all of a sudden, great, bang, orcs rise up against you and you're hanging from a lamppost.
Nobody wants to fight anymore.
But
Sauron's looking ahead. He's like, right, once the White City is gone, what am I going to have my guys do?
Yeah.
But once again, this is an ongoing problem. Clearly, the Dark Lord does not even want to pay for orcs, because why else would he need to involve men from the East? Apparently, he has to get the Haradrim involved because they're just cheaper, unpaid foreign labor.
It's not even that. It's pirates as well. Actual, honest-to-God pirates.
Yeah.
Unscrupulous.
Stealing Mordor orcs jobs.
Shocking the state of it, man.
Make Mordor great again. Would this movie have been better with Dr. Jack Ryan, Dr. Richard Kimball, or President James Marshall? Well, I think the answer's pretty obvious. It's Dr. Jack Ryan. Because who else is going to face off against Kittredge again? Or in this case, Rissa.
Yeah.
And Dr. Jack Ryan.
Absolutely fair one, yeah.
I can hear Harrison Ford going, "You've never seen me very upset," as well. I can hear him say,
yes. He could easily be folded into it as someone who assists Ethan Hunt in like the kind of end game of the film easily. Him and Ding Chavez and John Clark just fucking swaggering in and just it's like,
I heard you were making a movie that had no guns in it.
Yeah, it's like, I'm gonna fucking change that. Me and chronically underused Domingo Chavez and even more chronically underused John fucking Clark. We are gonna change that, dude. 2-person body count. Fuck that, man. Streets are gonna run red with blood.
Yeah. I think that's it for those guys. Weird little guy played by Peter Falk.
Yes, he could have been.
I
Like,
want Peter Falk as
guy.
Ethan Hunt.
Yes, and doing all like the horny stuff as well, and like Vanessa Redgrave's just like proper like trying to mac on him, and he's like,
So, Jim, I just have one more question.
Yes.
I was just
Yes,
taking. Just imagine him taking off weird masks.
Yeah. Like he pulls off his Peter Falk mask and there's another Peter Falk underneath.
Exactly.
I was gonna say like the ultimate like twist is Peter Falk takes his Peter Falk mask off, and it's just like still Peter Falk, and it's like, you thought I was pretending to be Columbo the whole time? No, I'm actually star of stage and screen Peter Falk, making an himself.
But you have never
appearance.
seen me upset.
Or it's Columbo, Peter Falk rips off his mask and it's the granddad from The Princess Bride, Peter Falk underneath.
Incredible scenes. He could have played Phelps. He could have played Kittredge. Could have played Kittredge's buddy. He would have, yeah. Hey God, Krieger, I love it.
Krieger's the one. Krieger's the
This
one.
is supposed to be
Yeah.
a zero body count mission. Perhaps.
He's with the knife and the rat and the oh man, the comedy of him like trying to like pull Ethan back up again from the rope and everything.
Yeah.
Imagine him flying the helicopter.
Oh, yeah, with like a cigar, like
Yeah.
sticking out of his mouth, and yeah,
I
can picture it.
I mean, I know that we fucking idolize Columbo in this pod, but I can imagine him flying the helicopter adeptly better than anybody else in that film.
He'd be he's giving me like A-Team vibes.
Yeah, it's like I'm like the last to hear this, I think, but I was really amazed and really pumped to hear that like as like Dirty Mac that he wears in Columbo was his own coat that he provided.
That's amazing.
I think that's mint. That's the platonic opposite of Steven Seagal bringing what appears to be his own sidearm to all his films and still not being able to
sucks.
shoot properly with it. You know?
Have you seen the?
I see.
statue?
Fucking once again, I'll say it. Watch a Steven Seagal film. He clearly brings his own old busted ass 1911, and he blinks when he shoots it. I will bang the fucking drum about this for a long time. We're never going to do a Steven Seagal film because none of them really fit the kind of vibe of the show.
Yeah. Okay. Have you seen the Columbus statue they got in Budapest?
No, but that's based.
There's like there's like it translates to like Folk Street. So they've got like a bronze statue of Columbo like scratching his head and his dog in front of him, like the little beagle. Jeffrey Wright, could he be in this movie somewhere?
Undoubtedly, but where? He fits with the vibe. He fits with its American centric, obviously, kind of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
He plays a great like conflicted American. You know.
Yeah. If they wanted to make Kittredge less of just a company man, they could have made given him a few more dimensions with Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, he wouldn't have made sense playing Krieger. That's for sure.
No, absolutely not. No, he's got to be like, conflicted guy or someone with a quiet dignity. Have you watched the new Knives Out movie? Oh, really worth it. It's a really good movie. Jeffrey Wright's in it for like probably 5 minutes total. He's got like a scene at the start of the movie and a scene at the end of the movie, but he's fantastic. Just comes in, bosses the scenes, walks out again.
Amazing.
Brilliant. Love the guy. Right, the question that we've all been waiting to ask, is this movie pro or anti the Central Intelligence Agency? What? I'm finished. This isn't the end.
Samuel Jackson,
Oh, you want to talk about Samuel
Commander,
Jackson? Yeah.
U.S. Navy.
With Lieutenant Commander Samuel L. Jackson, U.S. Navy, work in this movie. What do you think?
Could we possibly replace Kittredge with him? I can see him
Very different
telling
movie.
Hunt to go to hell.
I'll tell you what you would have to have if you were going to have Samuel L. Jackson do a heel face turn in this movie. He would demand he had a scene with Hunt at the end of the movie where they like resolved their differences and like shook hands so that Samuel L. Jackson got to walk away a hero at the end of the movie. That's not a slide against Samuel L. Jackson. That's just the kind of role I think you'd want to have in the movie.
Yeah. Well, it would make it a very different film, but it wouldn't be a deal breaker.
No.
It wouldn't be a film ruiner. I could definitely say it work, and it would be a different film. They could fit him in easier into the sequels, I think.
Yeah. Well, as Kittredge still, or like a different role? Different role, I think.
Different role, I think. Yeah.
That's a very good question.
That's a really fucking good one. Christ, that's like...
I
Oh,
hadn't thought about that. Yeah, where else could he be? Because at this time, what is this, 1996? So this is like post-Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, this
so
is the...
he's... Yeah, so what, we're near Deep Blue Sea. Where Okay. He could have been. Hey, I'll tell you what. He could have been Phelps.
He could have been Phelps.
That would have been a slightly different vibe. But yeah. I'll tell you what though. Would have been a bit awkward when Tom Cruise pulled off the Phelps mask. Because then it was like it was like it was like
Shit.
it's like was that blackface? Yeah, probably did.
Probably did.
Yeah, no, that's probably not right. No, we can't do that. Yeah.
What if he does Luther?
What, and lose Ving Rhames? What, exchange Marcellus Wallace for whoever the Samuel Jackson's name was in Pulp Fiction?
Does my laptop look like a bitch?
Instead of Job 3:14, it's Ezekiel.
He could. He could play Krieger.
He could play Krieger. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I hate motherfucking rat.
I've had it with these motherfucking rats in my
motherfucking
ventilation
vents.
shaft.
Motherfucker, why are you saying toast? Motherfucker, yeah. Motherfucker. Toast.
The sound check is just him going motherfucker, a different.
Motherfucker.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Motherfucker.
The sound check's just him doing his like Royale with cheese bit from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, man.
Do you know what they call a rat in Paris?
A chef.
A ratatouille. Yes! Chef. Oh, we both got there. A chef.
God.
Any motherfucker can cook. Who, right, okay. Would Samuel L. Jackson have improved the 2008 Pixar film Ratatouille?
Right.
Starring
I hate to say
Patton
this.
Oswalt.
I hate to say this, but we could replace my boy Peter O'Toole, no relation, with I think anyway. Who fucking knows, right? It's the Irish.
So he's the food critic, right?
Yeah. So replace him with Samuel L. Jackson as Anton Ego, the food critic. I would
Nice.
just kind of like to see that happen.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
You're telling me a shrimp fried this rice? You're telling me
This is some motherfucking good ratatouille.
He comes in with his fucking purple lightsaber.
We do not grant you access to the kitchen.
Would Ratatouille be better with Dr. Jack Ryan, Dr. Richard Kimball, or President James Marshall?
Halfway through the film, President James Marshall declares war on the French.
Amazing. I haven't seen Ratatouille in too long. There was a joke I saw on Threads of like Linguini like turning up to work for, late for the 5th time in a row, screaming, "I'm sorry for late because I got all this rat shit in my hair."
Fuck me. Jesus Christ.
Right. Would this movie, Mission Impossible, is it pro or anti-CIA? It's anti. I think they were all, in a way, are anti because they pitch the IMF at odds with the CIA, and they're constantly. I don't know how many more of these movies you've seen, Roy, but like there's always like congressional hearings where they're having to defend themselves to like an oversight committee for their funding and everything. A bit like how they do at the end of like all the Bourne movies.
Yeah.
And there's a really like this brilliant like running gag of like of Alec Baldwin is always there like justifying like so I think one of them he starts by saying like the IMF needs to be cut away, it's ridiculous, it's like in the age of modern intelligence gathering, imminent, SIGINT, etc. We don't need human sources with like these ridiculous gadgets and stuff to be doing crazy missions. And then at the end of the movie he's like, and that's why I think the IMF is critical to this safety of this nation, why we need it. And it's like you've just done like a 180 from the it's brilliant.
Amazing.
Anyway, it's anti-CIA, which makes it 7-3 against, I think.
7-3 against.
Cool. Right. Ding Chavez Award for missed opportunity of this movie.
Well, there's one. There is one.
Now, I know the movie starts with the whole very cool, very effective sequence of the team that we think we're going to get to know all getting wiped out. The latest season of It, Welcome to Derry, does a very similar thing. And it's very cool, very fun. But, man, I love me some Kristin Scott Thomas, and I think she should have been in this movie a bit longer.
Yeah.
Maybe she should have survived, and maybe Claire shouldn't have.
Yeah, we could.
Missed opportunity is clearly the size of the aquarium. As discussed earlier,
Gotta
we
be
are
fish.
roughly 1,497 fish short of something actually intriguing. All I've seen on the floor was a handful of lobsters.
I think a missed opportunity for me is I've just had a quick Google for the funny Usenet and news group names we could have seen. Along, obviously, we saw like Amiga demos one and the Amazon Women Enthusiast stuff. We could have had alt.swedish.chef.bork.bork.bork. Of course, there's the legendary, as I mentioned, alt.wesley.crusher.die.die.die. alt.fan.carl-malden.nose. Some absolute total bangers out there. I'm just pulling up some more. alt.alien.vampire.flonk. That one actually appears in the film. If you have a look at the film, if you pause, that actually does appear in it. That is referenced there. So yeah, there you go. There are so many. They could have a bit of like a Usenet deep dive. You could have got in some Usenet drama with people, and people like, oh my god, that Ethan guy's posting again. Let's take this thread to emails, which is what they would do if someone was being irritating in a thread.
Amazing. Hey, Roy O'Toole, final thing before we wrap this bad boy up. Have you got any notes from the peanut gallery?
It's taking my glasses off so that the IMF can't see me look at the phone. So there's some excellent reviews of this film on our friend of the podcast, not quite a sponsor, but it makes my life a lot easier finding funny things that is Letterboxd. Some great ones, some not so great ones, some ones that don't make too much sense, and some ones do make a fair amount of sense. 4 stars. No, sorry, 3 stars. Fake news. This was like not good. In my opinion, I may just dislike action movies though, brackets, but it was entertaining and explodes in the high campy vibes of that helicopter scene. There were single snippets of this that were hilarious in ways I don't know were intended to be. Like when Ethan is in disguise, but it's not a mask at all, and then he'll whip his face off like magic and it's him. And I liked the part where the government were descending on a hotel room or whatever it was to capture Max and Ethan, and there was a little old lady vacuuming outside and they threatened her with a gun and she just kept vacuuming. I will not be watching more Mission Impossible movies unless I'm made to. Also, I hope Tom Cruise dies for real.
Well, got a bit
Damn, right? Yeah. 2.5 stars. Sometimes I felt like I was watching a bunch of people speak gibberish in tones that insinuated they must be talking about important stuff like an hour and a half straight. But also, I had fun. 4.5 stars by Ophelia. I pitched this by going, Tom Cruise is so hot in this, he looks like a child. Which wasn't the greatest choice of words in my life, but we did end up watching it and enjoying it, so I'm counting it.
Yes, officer, this letterbox review right there.
Absolutely. Can't believe I finally watched this. Midterms have eaten me the fuck alive. Jesus, it's been a week since I watched a film last, and I promised myself I'd watch no less than 200 this year. 29 left. I'm going to have to lock in this month, guys. Pray for me. 3.5 stars. A one that hits a good point here. I love how 90s it is. I'm not bombarded with background music, the silence, slowness, dullness, and daily life sounds, as opposed to a music score insert one right after the other. They don't make movies like this anymore. It's jarring watching this after the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. And someone just puts 4.5 stars, loved Tom Cruise, devastating. We have a very time-relevant one. 12th of December 2025, 3 stars. Bad news for any Portsmouth fans watching this. Southampton did escape relegation.
Brilliant.
Low-key confused, but they gagged me sometimes, so. And another one of 5 stars, 10 out of 10 banger and a classic. Suspenseful, conniving and small, not saving the world in the best way. Everything is a little off-kilter, the acting is a bit more unrestricted, people scream things, not just drop cliche lines. These weird close-ups from below when Hunt and Kittredge are reacting to things, it just fucking works. Side note, I never noticed in my pre-million watches there's a sequence where Ethan spends the whole night sending little emails and seems more spent from doing this than any other physical task. And I don't know how it hasn't become a meme, it me. Amazing stuff. We're almost through these. Don't worry, guys. I can't stop thinking about Brian De Palma split diopter shots. My wife left me. She took the kids. I couldn't give up Brian De Palma split diopter shots. Nothing makes me feel the way they do, said Sydney with a 4.5 star review. Rick Siska, 5 stars. The happiest movie ending in history. It's 1996 and you're having a pint outside with Ving Rhames as Dreams by the Cranberries plays in the background. I cannot imagine anything better on God's green earth than that. 3.5 stars. Tom Cruise has so many good films. It's a shame he's such a weirdo, says Haley. And I think that's a lot of people's opinion on Tommy C. The other Tommy C, not Tom Clancy, but in fact Tom Cruise.
Top
So
Cat.
there you go. Top Cat.
Cool. Right, that brings us to the end of an episode of Clear and Present Dudes. Before we sign off, are there any final points anyone would like to make about the movie?
I've been thinking we've brought up soundtrack and general ambience, and so I found it very quiet volume wise. I've rewatched it today on my laptop, and I had to hook it up to the stereo to actually be able to follow the dialogue in places.
Yeah,
And
that's a really good call, actually.
especially in comparison to the later Mission Impossible, and especially the latest one, it's a very quiet film for action thriller.
Interesting. Cool. Roy O'Toole, any final comments about the lasting impact of this mission movie? Are you going to watch the rest of them?
Yeah, it's been determined that Emma and I are going to watch the rest of them. I mean, like I said, I did say, right, number 2 is a completely different kettle of fish. But yeah, we are going to watch the whole of them, I think, and report back to you. But,
You are in for a treat. The next one,
Yeah.
3, is one of the best ones, I think.
Sweet, get in. Looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, yes.
Yeah.
Is there any film he couldn't make better by his presence?
There is not. Cool. Right. I guess a little parish notice to our listeners. We're probably going to take a little break over the festive period, so it's not going to be bang on 2 weeks for the next episode like usual. It might be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 weeks. And we have to kind of have a discussion about what we're going to do for that movie, and we're going to come back in the new year. What I will say is that at some point in January, we're going to celebrate Michael Manuary.
Mm-hmm.
So there's bound to be a Michael Mann movie in there. Which one it is, who can say? I don't think we're going to go with Heat straight away. But hey, we might. It's all to play for. It could be Black Hat.
Heat's really the brass ring, isn't it? I mean, we've got to bring the A game. We've got to take pre-workout before we go for Heat. We've got to go on a vision quest and climb mountains and shit. You know, it's like...
Yeah, exactly. And there are plenty of other options out there before we get to Heat. There's Miami Vice, there's Black Hat, Public Enemies.
I'd like to do Manhunter.
Manhunter, yeah, big time. The Keep, ? Last of the Mohicans. Don't know if it technically is in spirit with this podcast, but it's a Michael Mann movie.
Ellie's coming back into frame now, by the way, guys.
Okay, man, I need to... Right, okay. The cat obviously wants to pod over. Okay, cool. Guys, to our listeners, hope you have a peaceful festive period, and we'll catch up with you in the new year. If you'd like to give us any suggestions for ongoing stuff, or contact us, or give us any kind of feedback whatsoever, email us at clearandpresentdudes@gmail.com. You can find me on Threads at MikeD2049, and you can find the podcast on Instagram at clearandpresentdudes. Rory?
Yeah, you can find me on twitter.com at Rory O'Toole.
Okay, cool. And Sanya, off the grid, still somewhere deep in the Black Forest.
If you manage to find me anywhere, I will be equally impressed and concerned.
He's escaping over the Austrian-Swiss border this Christmas with the rest of the Von Trapp family. In which case, see you guys in the year. We have been Clear and Present Dudes.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry
Have a great one. Peace out. See you on the flip side.